one minute. Let me just let everybody in.
27 applications.
A lot of signs and awnings.
That's good.
We're just gonna keep it moving along there, right, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, I'm going to be evil tonight.
And we don't all have to, I would suggest that we don't all have to say something.
Okay, we are on YouTube Live.
Okay. here we
Okay, so
go.
this is the opening of the Historic Preservation Architectural Review Board, Thursday, March 25, 2021 meeting. So with that, let's start with the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, great. So no minutes, so we'll just leave that alone. Old business, 268 Division Street, please.
Anthony. There he is.
Good evening. Just briefly, we're going to request an adjournment. We're just getting the revised planting plan wrapped up. We're not quite ready with it yet, though.
Okay, great. Thank you, Anthony.
Sure.
Dean,
I
can
make
you get a
to
motion?
adjourn 268 Division Street. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great.
And for the record, our next meeting is April 8th.
Thanks.
83 Main Street, please.
Anybody, hold on, I have people. Anybody here for 83 Main Street?
83 Main Street, second call that?
It's a sign. Can we just, Mr. Chairman, can we just look at it and,
No,
no? Okay.
we're just gonna keep, we have to keep going. 125 Glover Street, please.
I don't see him. I don't see him either.
Okay, second call that. Bethany, I just got what you're putting down. 83 Main Street. Carrie, can you bring up that 83 Main Street for us?
Yes.
Whoa, what happened here?
Okay, there you go.
Do we know where this goes?
There you go.
Right there.
New store.
Val, comments?
Oh, looks good.
Bethany?
I think it's great. I would actually make a motion.
No, I want to hear what everybody's got to say.
Okey dokey.
Val?
Val said okay.
Okay, Judith?
It's fine.
Steve?
It's good.
It's fine.
Okay, Bethany,
Yep, I'm good.
make your motion.
Oh, I can make my motion. Okay. I move 83 Main Street sign.
Second,
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
One just question.
Bethany
Is
and
this,
Val?
Oh.
125 Glover Street?
I don't see him in, Dean.
Okay. 12 Amity Street, please.
That would be Dean Hagerman and Mr. Betts.
Hi, I'm here, William Betts, on behalf of my sister Elizabeth Betts, 12 Amity LLC. And this is the barn submission. We've met with the neighbor, with Frank. We've come to an agreement. We've gone over the structure extensively, and what we're proposing is to rebuild the barn based on the historic preservation guidelines of the Department of the Interior. We've submitted a siding sample, which is actually taken from the barn, but instead of 2 courses, which apparently, according to your own historian, was a replacement siding, we're proposing using that as a template and cutting a new siding in cedar. And then basically saving everything that's possible to save about the barn, and then recladding it and painting it one of 3 historical colors, which we've submitted to the board for approval.
Can I ask about the agreement you had with the neighbor, for the record?
I'm sorry?
What is the agreement that you had with
Oh, okay.
the neighbor?
So the 3 things that that are the agreement. The first thing is he has asked us to remove the back window, and the window, based on our looking at the window and evaluating it, it is not an original window to the structure. And so what we've proposed is to move it to the side of the building. We would like to keep a window in the building, but move it to the side of the building. The second piece of that is we have asked to remove the tree, the maple tree, which is in fact growing up through the barn, and part of why it's structurally unsound. And the third part is, after careful analysis of the structure, we've determined that at one point it was painted, and we would propose repainting it.
Yeah, I got full power.
I'm sorry? Okay.
Somebody was talking, sorry.
Yeah, so we would propose repainting the barn, and we have submitted 3 samples, and he doesn't find any objection in those samples. So to review, we would reclad the barn and paint it one of the historical colors that we have proposed. We would remove the tree at our expense, and using a probably Coastal Arbor Care or another arbor company, tree company that's licensed and has insurance, and we would coordinate with Frank. And then we would move the window from the rear of the barn, which overlooks his swimming pool, to the side of the barn.
Great. So what I think I'd like to do is just recap our involvement with this project, ask for Zach's opinion, and then go to the board members, and then have you to respond to our comments.
Certainly.
If you don't mind. I think that we've been there possibly, I know at least 3 times, possibly 4. I think Zach was there 4 times.
Yeah.
And on the plan, it waffles between duplicating the original barn doors on the south side to repairing them or rehabilitating them. And also, when we were at the site, there were 2 sides of the barn that we were hoping that would be restored, the siding, that is. And then the door on the second story on that south side as well would be rehabilitated. Now, that's my recollection of that, and where we left it, that you were going to work it out with the neighbor and figure out how you were going to handle that back north side with the tree. So that's all good that you worked it out with the neighbor. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Zach.
Yeah. Well, briefly, I would say it would be very helpful for the other members of the board who haven't been out there at all or multiple times, to have a representation here that shows the as-is condition. This is kind of standard practice, the as-is appearance and condition of the 4 walls, and then the proposed, because by combining this on one sheet, we don't know what, for example, where it says, I have my, so tiny, I have to have my magnifying glass, where it says rebuilt existing barn doors. Those are the front doors. I don't really know what that means on a drawing. You know, if we can see the existing and then the proposed, that would explain it.
Zach, I just want you to really zero in on what we've discussed 3 times at the site, and then we'll go from there, because there are a lot of moving parts, and a resolution can handle a lot of these things, and that drawing, like you said, will have to be nailed down. But if I recall correctly, the 2 south side doors, the main doors on the first floor, the second stay, and the siding on the south side, the main facade,
Correct.
and then that west side.
Correct.
Is that your opinion and your historical?
Yeah. Yes, I agree with that
And it's
entirely. And the only thing that it appears new here is the idea of relocating the window from the back wall to the side, which can be discussed or debated. But yes, as you said, that's correct.
So as far as the nuances of the plan and the resolution, when we get to that point, we'll
Okay.
go from there because there are some
Okay.
inconsistencies in the plan. So we're gonna go to the board members and ask if they have questions, and hopefully we can handle that tonight. Val?
No, I don't have questions. I hadn't seen the paint color. I'd be interested to see what that is.
Red,
Red,
bright red.
bright red.
Can
Okay.
we see
Bethany?
the actual, can we see a sample of the color? Is
Um,
that, is that part of the, application? Like if I
Yes.
went in and saw the folder, would I see a paint sample?
Yes,
It's there? Do we have that?
I mean, I have it, I submitted it with the
Okay.
package.
Did you
Yeah,
email that, Joy?
I'm sorry?
Did you email that to me?
Yes, I emailed it to boards and I emailed it on 3/8/21. So March 8th.
Now, my question is about, as it's been stated, 2 walls are being in a way I look at it as being saved. Is that correct? All right,
Yes,
now let me look at the paints here. Let's look at this real quick. So let's see. So which color, are these the
Which one
colors?
is
you're gonna-
red?
This says gray.
these are the replacement colors. The original color, the barn red, was indicated on several places on the front of the barn. And as part of our discussion with our neighbor, Frank, part of the discussion was instead of painting the barn back to the barn red, would be to pick something that was historical, but less bright.
Sir, what color would you like to pick from these 3?
Are you talking to me? I'm sorry.
Yes, please. Can you just tell what the color is so we
Which
can?
color are you gonna do?
This is my sister's barn. Let me see I don't know exactly. I suggested to her that she submit 3 samples, but she does have a preference. Let me reach out to her and tell you.
Okay.
Um,
Can I
Yes.
ask another question?
okay, please.
So from what I understand is 2 of the walls are being saved or redone, correct?
And repaired, yes.
Yes, repaired, thank you. What's going to happen to the other 2 walls?
So there's the 4 walls of the barn. All 4 are in different states. The 2 walls,
Hello.
the 2 walls which are facing the front wall which has the entrance door,
Not happening. It's not
the
happening.
side wall.
This isn't my
Which-
meeting.
Okay, hold on.
What you?
Can everybody please mute themselves?
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
Okay, so there's the front wall, which has the entrance door, and the side wall, which has the door and the proposed window. Those 2 walls are original, but the quality of the siding is in terrible condition. And we counted, and probably only about 30% of the siding has not been bug eaten or damaged. And so it would be very tricky to do. So we're proposing cladding the building. The other 2 sides of the building were completely rebuilt. They are, if you look at the interior side, which is the only side we have access to because the adjoining building is butted up against it, the siding on those 2 was probably 20 years old. And so we would be recreating all 4 sides. We are going to clad the entire building in the same material, which is a material that matches what is there and would be cut to the exact specifications of what's existing on the facing sides of the building.
Okay, great, thank you. Judith?
You keep saying that you're gonna clad all 4 sides of the building, and then other people are saying 2 sides of the building. So you're gonna have 4 brand new sides of the
On
building,
this-
is that
On
correct?
this barn.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And my other comment, I guess, is that I know you are hoping for that gray color, but it seems to me that if the barn was originally a dark, like New England red barn, that perhaps it should be returned to that state and be a red barn, because I'm unaware of barns being painted. I could be wrong. I think of them as either not being painted or being painted red, or but the colors that you showed us don't look like an old barn color to me. I could be wrong though. Zach would.
No, you're not wrong at all, Judith. And when we were there, as the applicant has said, we were able to see traces of old red paint on the side of the building that retains a portion of its original siding. And I think I understood him to say at the beginning of this that that it was going to be painted red. So
That's right.
I'm also a little mystified.
Well, I'll clarify. We wanted, our intent was to paint it red. After discussion with the neighbor objected to that. And so I'm trying to thread the needle here and navigate this process. And so while we like the idea of painting the barn, we're trying to move this project ahead. And so I don't disagree with you. I mean, I have a property in Connecticut. I have a red barn, I have a yellow barn, and I have an unpainted barn on the property. And, I understand that historically barns are red, but I'm also trying to navigate this process.
Okay, we're not generalizing. We're not saying, barns were red or barns were. What we're saying is that there's the evidence there that we have seen for the fact that this particular barn, if you will, carriage house, whatever you want to call it, was painted red, and that's a very early color. It doesn't look like it's a coat of paint on top of an earlier coat.
Right.
If your neighbor is here, it would probably be good to hear whatever the objection is. This is the forum for the discussion.
Steve, do you have comments?
I do. Number one, because it's painted red doesn't mean it was originally red when completed. Since you're doing all 3 sides or all 4 sides, one option might be to let them age naturally without any coating. Number 2, I would say that I am really uncomfortable about people representing their neighbor's position, and that I would be much more comfortable approving this if there was some document, a letter, a notarized letter from your neighbor, or if they were present here at the meeting. And are they your only neighbor? I'm not really familiar with your property. So those are my questions.
Bob Adams?
I think that if the neighbor is objecting to the red color, that he should come in and we should have a meeting with
Or
him.
write a letter.
Yes.
Mhm.
Okay,
And-
so for me,
Dean, can I ask one more question? Because
Sure.
I am a little confused. Like when we first started, it sounded to me like you and Zach said that at least 2 of the walls were going to be fixed in a way, right? They were not going to be totally done over. Am I incorrect?
so I was going to bring up the issues. So color is the least of my issues in my mind, but there are 3 things at the side, on the 2 sides, would be the west and the south side, were historic and should be retained. And then the south side bottom door, the main barn doors, and the one above should be maintained, as well as the access door on the west side. And, you know, I'm in agreement with the window. The color, I'm indifferent on, but what really is giving me pause is where we were on site with discussing about saving the 2 walls
Mhm.
and the doors.
Right.
Evidently, this is the oldest barn in Sag Harbor. Zach?
We're, from our standpoint, I mean, we're happy to do whatever. We're happy to fix the sides, you know, the 2 original sides. The comment that was made to us during the meeting at the barn was that the siding was not original. And, you know, there were several indications of that. And so I understand that it's a historic barn, and we've, you know, from our plan and from our proposal, you know, we're going to save all the original lumber and all the original structure that we can. But the siding itself, that 2-course siding, you know, we were told that that was not original to the structure. And so, you know, it's old. And we've, you know, in the proposal that we've put forward, certainly we will be, you know, we will be remaking that. But the siding itself we were told was not original. As far as the doors, you know, we would like to, we are going to use the doors as they are and the hardware where appropriate. There's a lot of hardware on that barn, on the barn doors, for example, that's probably from Emporium Hardware. And so, you know, we want to use the parts that we can that are appropriate. But there's several pieces where the bottoms of the door, for example, the boards, the bottoms are decaying. The bottoms are basically falling apart. And so, you know, we're not going to have a functioning door. And we're fine. We're okay with that. But we also want to, you know, we're trying to navigate this to have something that, you know, that's usable and will last. Unfortunately, I think to some degree, this structure has been allowed to decay beyond, you know, beyond its usefulness. It was abandoned, you know.
Zach,
Yeah.
I need you to clarify the siding
Yeah.
and the doors for us.
Yeah, well, I think where the terminology gets lost here is this business of whether something's original or not. And one of the Secretary of the Interior standards gets into this, that something, you know, old fabric on a building does not have to be perceived as original to it if it has been introduced at some point and it has a long history on the building. And I think what we saw, in part because it preserved that old paint evidence, is that the siding may not be original to the structure, but it is considered to be historic. And by the applicant's admission, it has weathered to the point that in his estimation, it's difficult to even retain it. So it's quite old, and it is therefore worthy of retaining if feasible. I think that's where, you know, a detailed examination of that particular wall would be helpful. You know, perhaps half of the boards can be retained. The other half may be rotted or bug infested or what have you, broken, that would have to be replaced to match. But that's the detail that we get into in this building, and we're not shown any of that detail. So we're sort of chasing this terminology around. Those 2 walls retain a fair amount of early siding, and that's what we want to have retained. And what needs to be replaced would have to be shown to have been beyond its useful life. Bugs,
So
rot.
if as a board, we agree to, you know, however we come to an agreement here, we would have to have a resolution drafted that would spec out all of the Secretary of Interior's processes of restoring this barn. So that would be site visits by the building inspector at different phases of the construction. So it's a big long laundry list there. So I just want to make sure you're aware of it. It's just not, you know, a note from the architect. It's a big deal, especially to us.
Dean,
Yeah.
Dean, I just want you to know that Mr. Almaraz just got into the meeting.
Okay.
So you guys have
Great. We'll
questions
call on him
for
in a moment.
And Dean,
So this is where we are. Our historian saying that, you know, the siding is is worth preserving, and the
Sure.
doors. And some of your plans, there are several plans on that one sheet, are saying two different things. So we need that clarified. And if you could clarify that you agree with us or not, and then we have to come up with a way forward, I guess.
In fairness, I mean, we're more than happy to do whatever it takes. Obviously, from our standpoint, you know, part of my sister's interest in this property was the historic nature of it. And, you know, we want to do what's right. So, you know, we're happy to come to an agreement, sign an agreement to, you know, looking at the process, because we've read, all of us involved in the project have read the Secretary of Interior's guidelines, and we're happy to go along with it. And if it requires certain steps within the process to say, here's the boards we identified, and here's the ones that are garbage, and then we, you know, and we step forward piece by piece, we're happy to do that.
I feel as though that those two sides, that west and that south side, you have a brand new roof relative to the age of this structure. You have asphalt up there already.
Yeah.
We're asking to preserve those. I'm going to ask my board, but it seems reasonable to me, and with the opinion of our expert, that those two sides should remain intact as
Sure.
best as possible.
I mean, we're like, as I said, we're happy to do that. We just want to make sure that it's, you know, that if there's any rot or bugs, that those boards, and there are quite a few that have bug damage and have rot, you know, that it would be, that are in many ways beyond repair, and are worthy of replacement, get replaced. So the structure
And
looks
the color, I guess, so we're gonna have to get that resolution and meet you again. So you could actually bring that color, the one that you decide to use on the next meeting.
I have the color here. It's called Briarwood. That's the one that it's the darkest color, and that would be my sister's preference.
So we'll have to go to the board, and I'll pose a motion and see how this goes. So I propose
Dean,
that.
before you propose a motion, may I ask one more question?
Sure.
There was this talk of moving a window from the back to the side. I want to know, A, what does Zach feel about moving a window? And if that window is moved, is it going to be cut into the wall and put into the wall that we are asking to be saved?
Well, again, that's what's being proposed, and I don't feel that that's something that you would ordinarily approve, absent some compelling reason for why that needs to happen.
I misspoke. We're not voting on this tonight, but I am going to ask final questions so we can come to so Liz can work on a resolution.
Okay.
So board, quickly, I'm going to run through everyone. The idea is that we will have a resolution drawn up using the Secretary of Interior's protocols for rehabilitating this structure. That would be the south and the west walls, including the barn doors, first and second story, and then that west door with the original hardware. And then the color evidently red that will be presented to us at the next meeting. And if the applicant could clean up the drawing so they indicate exactly what's happening, not replicating the original doors, but using the original ones. I hope that's fair. And before I go to the board, Rocky.
Yeah, hi.
Hi. Would you like to have a comment?
Well, Dean, would you mind just expounding on the red piece? I apologize for joining late. If you could just expand.
We have to do this again in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The applicant will be presenting that color red to us. So we're not approving anything tonight, but we are, he has provided us with gray color chips, and evidently there's a red. Do you have an opinion on this?
We have a strong opinion on this. First of all, the tree that is growing underneath the barn, we have agreed with the owners to allow them to remove it because there really can't be anything that's done otherwise. And we're very supportive of what they're doing. With three issues that are going to really affect us. Number one, that tree that needs to get removed has hidden that barn, and the gray color for the barn is it makes it kind of go away. If it's anything but gray, it will stick out like an eyesore, and it will become a major, effectively a major.
Okay, Rocky, we have a big meeting. I got the feeling, I have no strong opinion either way. I think that most of the board members were kind of in that same boat. So what's your next issue?
The window. As I said, I mean, this barn is right on top of us, and our pool is right there. So we had agreed that it would be amenable to both sides to be able to move the window.
Okay, and the next one?
And actually, that's pretty much it.
That's the three.
Does anyone from the board have any issues with what Rocky has said regarding the color and moving the window? That's great. So we're going to have our lawyer come up with a resolution to properly restore this with the Secretary of Interior's protocols. And then we'll vote on that next week, in 2 weeks.
Mr. Chairman, just one question. I'm assuming that Rocky is the neighbor. He did not identify himself for the record.
Oh.
So I think we still should have that because in the future things might change and opinions might change. And I just want to know that we clearly have on record his endorsement for what you've just laid out.
Yes, with the carve-outs of what I laid out, that we have reached an agreement, and we're endorsing that.
Can you please say your name for the record, sir?
Yeah, sure. So, just for the record, my first name is Frank. The last name is Ahimaz. It's Ahimaz, and we're the neighbor at 96 Madison Street.
Thank you.
So board members, if anyone has any last comments, can you please present them to us now? Great. Liz, are you comfortable with setting up some sort of a resolution and moving that between the parties?
Yep, I will prepare a resolution and circulate it to the board before the next meeting.
Great. Beautiful. Thank you. I make a motion to table this application, 12 Amity.
So Dean, just for my own clarification, so from a process standpoint, there's going to be a resolution drafted that will say basically that we're going to stick with the Secretary of Interior's guidelines, and it's going to incorporate the things that Frank and we have agreed to. And is it also going to address, is there anything we need to do to our plans or anything?
You need
like
to
that?
update your drawings on, because there are some inconsistencies on the doors.
Okay.
Also stating that on that west side and the south side, you're going to rehabilitate, restore, preserve the siding, the door, and the original doors that we discussed.
Okay, very good.
Could I ask one more question, Mr. Chairman?
Sure, Judith.
It just said that that Liz is going to write up something that incorporates the neighbors' thoughts, and that does not mean that the board agrees with them. Is that correct?
Yeah, her resolution is not going to include Rocky's comments. We're taking that into our process of voting on this, and it seems to me that most of the board could go either way, with the red or the grays. So
Okay.
We'll make that clarification at the next meeting.
That next meeting we'll vote on all that.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Should I present the red to the board?
Yes,
Yes.
please send it to Carrie, and then she'll circulate that as well as the resolution prior to the next meeting.
Okay.
So if you have comments, please do.
For the neighbor, though, are we all in agreement of the darker gray color?
No,
No.
No, but at the next meeting, he'll have the 3 grays and the red. And then we can have this short discussion about the color and come to, I think we could probably find a happy medium at the next meeting.
And given the window that poses threat to his property, are we okay with, is the board okay with moving it to the side, or would we be better off eliminating it?
We have not yet voted on that.
I think, Zach, if they move that window to the west side, is that an issue for you? And if you have an issue, can you explain?
Well, I have an issue with it because we're talking about preserving as much of that siding on that wall as possible. And cutting a 3 foot by 6 foot high hole into it is not preserving it. Introducing a window into that wall is not appropriate.
Okay.
So
Even,
Applicant, would you consider removing that window entirely?
Yeah, we're not married to the window. We got rid of the window.
Okay.
It moves this forward, the window's gone.
you got
Great,
it.
thank you.
Last question. So we're going to present, also, we're just going to present the one color. Chairman, you asked me which the preferred color is of the owner, and I have that color. It's the Briarwood, which is the darkest gray. And so we're just going to present that.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make that motion to table 12 Amity.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, applicant.
Thank you.
219 Division Street.
This is Michael Olson, the applicant. This was an application to replace a door at 219 Division Street submitted in December. We had a brief discussion about it in February. I think the item was tabled so that the members could visit the property. And I think it's back before the board for resolution.
Great. Can someone bring up that graphic?
I can bring it up.
Thank you.
Oh, it was disabled. I'm trying. Carrie.
Hold on, I'll let you. There you go.
We're in the way of it. There you go.
That's the existing door.
Mhm.
And the proposal that was submitted in December was to replace it with a door like that. There was some discussion about whether it'd be more appropriate to do a 10 light that matched. And so I replaced I supplemented the application. This was the original plans that were approved by the building inspector that proposed installing a new front door. And I proposed to do that with a 10 light that matches, that will repair the door that is currently there now.
Bethany, comments?
I think that's great.
Steve?
Perfect.
It's fine.
Bob?
I think that's fine.
Judith?
Yes, it's fine.
Val?
Yep, we're good.
Who's going to make that resolution?
I'll make the motion that we accept the
10-light door.
modifications and the new front door as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Steve and Bethany. Okay, great. Moving right along. 128 Germain, please.
Good evening, members of the board. Brian DeSessa, 2462 Main Street, Suite 7, Bridgehampton, New York, attorney for the applicant. If I could screen share, please, Carrie, Mr. Chairman.
You can go ahead. Thank you, Brian.
This is the first time I'm appearing before you on this project. We have made some revisions since the board last saw this and clarification, so I'd like to walk the board through that. First, everyone can see this screen in the survey?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So the first portion, and we'll get to the elevations, but this depicts it best, is a request for a portion of the basement to be allowed as a walkout and a set of stairs. There was question last time as to whether or not it needed a variance. We've provided a single and separate search, and based on a single and separate search and the relief granted under the village code, this courtyard retaining wall can be set at 10 feet. It does not require a variance. So when you saw that sunken courtyard last time, it was larger, it came over to the edge.
Yeah.
It has been reduced to comply with zoning as to not require a variance. I will show you elevations of that, but that was a question and a concern last time that has been clarified to this point.
Good.
I'd like to take you to the elevations so we can be clearer on these. The proposal, and we can zoom in, is to re-side the existing house, change the roofing. We've spec'd those on the materials submitted, and to introduce a French door on the western elevation with a set of stairs. I could zoom in on that.
Mhm.
Okay,
You're
so,
gonna get, there you go.
yep, so this is the proposed new door, hinged patio door with a set of stairs to leave that internal area and stairs down to existing grade. This also shows where grade would be and where these stairs would go down to enter that basement area.
If I could just point out a couple things that I need clarified.
Yes.
EXDH, existing double hung, I'm assuming.
Yes, that is correct.
And then at the grade level where the existing awning windows are,
Yes,
you're gonna clad that with brick?
that is correct.
Does that say that somewhere?
I can have that added. I thought that was on there.
Just to
Mr.
make a
Chairman,
note, if
I
you're supposed to
don't,
match the other side, the other two sides.
I don't think that's possible because the new foundation that's been poured comes out to a full dimension of the basement. Any application of material other than paint would bring it forward of the siding.
Now, Brian, in a previous, I guess there was some sort of approval to fix this basement that had been removed because of
Correct.
a dangerous situation that was presented to us.
That's correct.
And the detail did have the concrete and then incorporating that brick skirt, if you will.
And it's going to be faced in brick. That's my understanding. That has not changed. I can have that note added.
I'm simply interjecting the thought that a veneer of brick has a depth to it of more than 1/4 of an inch, and the concrete has been poured in such a way that it does not allow for the application. Typically, in anticipation, the concrete would come up and then would step back some 2 or 3 inches and then come up beneath the building to create a shelf that would allow for the application of brick that would fall slightly below grade. That was not done. And so the concrete has been poured in such a way that it does not allow for the application of this. I'm simply pointing that out as a detail, that to simply annotate the drawing with a brick veneer does not take into account the structural reality of what's been built.
It was on a plan, it just did not materialize.
So you can draw in brick, but it ain't going to work because there's no place to put it, is all I'm saying, without an adjustment of the existing foundation.
Brian, it's really super important that this project is constructed according to approved plans. I mean,
I understand that.
this is really getting painful.
Well, let me jump in real quick. If he puts he's got a corner board that's receiving all the shingles.
That's correct.
So you run that corner board as a water table detail on the bottom of this, the last course. He can put a sill and then it's going to receive the brick, and that's a fairly common detail.
Is that something you can accommodate, Brian?
It is absolutely something I can accommodate and add to the drawings.
Thank you.
And the brick,
Acceptable to the board.
you can get a thin brick for this. If the brick is pre-cut, you can apply to the foundation like a tile, and it's going to be the exact same thing as an actual historic brick.
Thank you, Val.
Thank you. Thank you,
Brian,
Mr.
continue.
Yes. We then also had a addition to the landscaping. We had cleaned up the landscape plan. There wasn't one there previously, so we gave a planting chart, a materials chart, a fence detail, and indicated spacing on center. As the board may recall, the pool that is currently proposed was approved under a 2013 ARB decision in the same location and orientation. Wasn't provided with as much detail, so we were providing the coping details and additional materials that this board now requests, which was different from 2013.
So to just call out the details on this, can you explain how you complete the circuit with the pool fencing so we can see that, and then the exact vertical dimension of this final fence?
I can have that called out on the survey. It's not on there. I can have that called out.
Because if you look from Jermaine, I don't see how this pool fence closes, and we would have full view of a 6-foot 1x1 fence from the street.
Okay, we can do that.
Okay, please continue.
And then going back to the roofing is now called out as a charcoal gray is what the applicant is proposing. And the siding to be Alaskan yellow cedar to weather naturally. And those were the open points from reviewing the last meetings based on my review.
Judith, do you have comments on this application?
I would like to know about adding the doors on the side. Is it all right to just simply punch a big hole in the side of a historic house and add big doors? And also, these doors look to be oddly very close to a window.
Zach, can you opine on these doors and also the siding?
Yeah, well, there are 2 points there. Yeah, I guess the siding was actually brought up first, and my observation is that the original shiplap siding exists beneath the present asbestos shingle that's been applied on top. So I wouldn't advise that wood shingle be used. This was built as a commercial store, not a house. I think the use of wood shingle sort of charms it up, tries to transform it into something it's not. So I would say that just as we had a siding discussion a few minutes ago with another building across town, we have a comparable situation here, except all the original siding appears to survive beneath the newer layer, and it may have been damaged in the process, but we're not going to know that until that's taken off. So that's the siding, my recommendation on the siding. I think Judith's point is quite right. You know, you do allow the introduction of a door or a different window from time to time to accommodate a new usage of the space. But the way that pair of doors is placed is uncomfortably close to the window, which looks like it's actually been nudged about 8 inches to the side to make it work. A single door, for example, would work just as well to enable the applicant to get in and out of the house without making such a bold sort of statement. And perhaps a door that was divided, a single door divided into 4 lights as opposed to a pair of single light would kind of aesthetically blend better on that wall. It's quite visible from the street. It's not as if it's the back wall where you could take more liberties. So I think a single door leading to a flight of steps down wouldn't be a major change to that wall.
Do you have comments? Al Florio.
So, yeah, I was going to say if they could put lights in the door and I think make it consistent to the house, maybe it harmonizes a little bit better. I mean, that's it's a good point.
So what if I propose this to the board? I'll, if the board would grant permission to remove the existing siding so we could see the condition of the underneath siding, because
Yes.
the preposition on that is that it's in good condition. So let's remove it to see, and we can
No.
follow up in 2 weeks on that.
I wasn't making an observation about condition because we can't see the condition.
No,
What I'm
but
saying is,
my comment was to
That's
remove
what he's saying.
existing so you
Right.
could see the condition, because we don't know if the condition is good or bad
I understand,
until we remove it.
but the decision about the type of siding is not contingent upon the condition of what is there. It's about observation. Whether the condition of the original siding that's beneath the later layers is deemed to be such that it cannot be preserved, the type that it is still the presenting fact. Not, oh, well, then we can choose whatever siding we want. That's the point of the forensic investigation, is to determine what is appropriate.
Can
I
I
understand
ask a
that.
question?
I just wanted to be clear.
But the first step is to remove the existing,
Right.
Right, and we'll make a site observation.
and that's what I'm looking for.
We had
Okay.
asked for that,
Yeah.
and that was actually agreed to.
Yeah.
Okay.
To actually not even pull everything, but to just start with parts of it. And the other thing, and I do agree with you, Zach, about, you know, your historical information and everything.
Mhm.
I might be wrong, but I think that on a previous application, the cedar shakes were approved.
They were approved
They were.
previously.
Not in this present application.
So,
Absolutely not.
no, in a previous.
In a previous
like
application.
Okay,
This house,
let's just,
Okay.
Bethany, let's
like
just
right
stay.
before she bought it, or not right before, but to the previous person. I just want that out there because I remember it.
All
I
right,
remember. That's all.
I didn't know that.
That could have been an error. So, Bethany, do you have any other comments?
No, that it was voted on and approved. That's all.
Yeah, but they're here now to
No,
present.
I understand. I
Correct.
understand. Whatever the deal is, maybe
Paulette
Elizabeth.
or Miss Bethany, that's not fair.
Excuse me.
I'm just saying.
I
Yes.
just want to put it on the record that last meeting, she did come to us with the extending of the ARB approval for the siding and the pool. It was yellow.
Correct.
So I just want you guys to be aware of that.
That's what I remember.
But I do know that we're here for new requests, so that's why I bring that up in this format.
Okay. Could I bring up the missing chimney? I don't see a chimney in this drawing. I know that the existing chimney, the original chimney, was demolished. I don't know that, because there's still a patch in the roof to show where it was. It was on the other slope of the roof. It's slightly off the ridge. That's now been demolished.
It's on the other side.
Correct, it was there.
Oh, there it is.
That's representing where the applicant would like to put it. It should show up on both walls because it rises considerably above the ridge. It doesn't show up on the side elevation, and that's not where the original one was. Just pointing out that that's something that was removed without this board's approval.
Brian, can you have that chimney detailed so we know what the
I can have it
detail of
added.
that chimney is and what the
Added.
materials are?
Yep, I can have it added to the sides. Yes.
And Zach, from a historical perspective, it really should be, if the one that was taken down, the one to replace it should be in the same spot.
Well,
Or does
it's
it
where
matter?
it was, and the way that's presented is it's kind of transforming this old store into a house. And it's bringing the chimney over to the outside side wall so that a chimney piece presumably can be stuck against the side wall inside. That's not your issue. You're not living in the house, but it transforms the appearance of the building in a way that was not discussed. And now it's being presented to be built in another place because it's not there anymore. And that was just one of the architecture. It's a very simple house, but there are a couple of distinctive features. One being that very prominent centered front door, which tells you it's not a house, it's a store. And that chimney that was closer to the ridge, which was way in the back, because that's where people presumably lived upstairs above the store. Now we've lost the chimney. So I'm just pointing that out as something that's been kind of overlooked in the discussion. And it's one more element that's been removed without, the discussion.
Okay, Brian, that's important, right?
Yep, we'll get that detail added. Not a problem.
Okay.
Steve Williams, comments?
No, I think a lot has been said. I just, in these elevations, things don't seem to be proportional. If you look at the two windows over the center door entrance, one kind of overhangs the molding, one doesn't, the one on the left doesn't seem to. Can we get some dimensions, representations of some plans?
Mr. Williams, if you look, I have some photos here that actually show that that's the existing condition on the property.
All right.
Just to let you, yeah, it's not centered on the actual existing house.
So do you have photos of the side? Because I noticed it also on the side elevations, or the drawings of the elevations.
All existing windows are remaining.
That's correct. They have them here. I'll get a picture that doesn't have the trees on it for you for the next one, but yes.
Okay.
Okay, and you can superimpose the requested side entry door?
I can ask for that.
Okay, thank you.
Bob Adams?
I think everything's really been covered.
Okay, great. I'll make that motion to table 128 Germain Avenue. Is there a second?
Second.
That's Steve Williams. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. Thank you very much, Brian.
Great.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you. And that date is the
8th.
8th of April, 4/8. Thank you.
New business, and that is 8 Dartmouth Road, please.
Good evening, members of the board. Brian DeSessa, attorney for the applicant of 8 Dartmouth Road, 2462 Main Street, Suite 7, Bridgehampton, New York. If I may share, Mr. Chairman and Karen.
Go ahead.
So this is an application for property located at 8 Dartmouth. Trying to get the, okay. This is, so this project, as some of you may have read, so that there was an issue with the builder who came, who the applicant had hired, who subsequently fraudulently obtained a building and ARB approvals, who was subsequently is being prosecuted by the district attorney's office. The homeowner and applicant was unaware that both of those approvals that were presented to him were not in fact issued by the village. So we're in a situation where there is a partial as-built. Work was stopped. We're now restarting the process and coming to the architectural review board first. The property is located at 8 Dartmouth in the Redwood neighborhood. This is the existing house. We'll go through the elevations, but what the applicant was proposing to do was add a door here and a 4-foot wide expansion of this deck to gain access to here and subsequently to the yard. This again is the side profile. This is the area they were looking to add to and from. With a site visit, you'll see that there is framing up that was put up under the guise or premise that a permit had been issued, which in fact it hadn't been issued. The applicant will be moving forward depending on how this board reacts or advises the applicant. And also, I would ask the board to make a site visit to see the property. What the applicant is proposing to do, is, so this is that northern elevation that I just showed you, would be introducing a door, which is on their second floor in the hallway. There's bedrooms to this side of the house. There's a master on this side of the house.
Brian, I remember that this site is heavily screened.
It is. So I do have some photos that I'd like to present. This, you'll see these are this was the area that was added under the guise before a stop work order was issued. This is the view looking north toward the neighbor of that area. This is the area looking the reverse way. This is the renderings of what was being proposed, was this catwalk across with a walk to connect to the main deck on the eastern side of the property with a staircase and railing down. This is the existing property. It's a large lot. Well, it has 3 front yards, so it's surrounded by 3 roads on it. And then this is the applicant's house, Dartmouth, Redwood. What the applicant was proposing to do, there's an existing deck here, as you can see from this presentation, and they're proposing to make this addition across there. In addition to that, also done at the same time that we're looking for permission for, an outdoor shower was also constructed at that time. And the outdoor shower was attached to an existing legal structure, which it was wrapped in 2x6 cedar, vertical cedar that you'll see here. And this is without the door on that. So we're looking for a restart on both of these matters where you had an applicant that was presented with that approvals had been obtained, which hadn't been. This is actually finished. The decking catwalk area was under construction when that was ascertained.
Ryan, will these structures require variances?
So the catwalk will require a variance, but we wanted to get this board first before we proceed in that way from an aesthetic standpoint.
So how far does the deck, go back to the picture, Brian.
Okay.
How far,
Oop, hold on. I'm
how
waiting for
far
that.
does the new deck, like, are they going to build out from the bottom or?
No, it's just on the second floor. And so the area from the corner of the existing house to where the new door is
Mhm.
3 feet 6 inches wide.
Okay.
And then it gets wider here, but the area adjacent to the house would be the area that a variance would need to be obtained for. The rest of it would conform to what's existing. There is, I would note, if you see here, this is the first floor of that area.
Mhm.
And where you see the existing decking, which would remain, and the applicant is proposing to add this above it. So you have that existing.
So does it wrap around all the, I mean,
It
if
wraps.
I look here,
It wraps from here to this deck area, which is existing, and that was permitted. And this deck area then looks toward the pool and the 3 roads that surround the house. So that this is that deck. Let me zoom in on that. This is the deck area that it would connect to, and again, an aerial showing the 3.
It's really buried in with vegetation.
right.
Steve Williams, comments? Steve,
Can the public ask a comment, offer comment now, or tell me when? Tell me when.
I just want to run through my board, please.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, if I remember, the contractor was actually arrested for this.
That's correct.
I do thank you for the aerial shot, because I was a little hesitant to give my support of this, but it is really truly densely surrounded with trees, and I really don't see how that would impose on a neighbor's right to privacy by any stretch of the imagination.
I'm going to go to that person who wanted to make a comment.
Yes.
From the public. Could you
Yes,
state your
please.
name, please? And
Scott Francis and Patty Weinberg, we're the next door neighbors to the north on the side of the house where this extension's being placed. This is a project that the zoning board already shot down, but based on its
Not
merit.
the case.
Okay. This project's going to go back to the zoning board and get shot down again. But is this also a building that's going to require a variance of a foot towards a property? According to the applicant, it's a foot towards a property. But the reality is that the property slopes down 6 feet. They wanted the building that they want to put is going to be within. It's going to be 14 feet tall at the rail. It's going to be 14 feet away from our property line. Our property line is 6 feet below the grade of the house. So this creates, in truth, with the proper elevation and measurement of the site, that a penetration of the pyramid law by 7 feet in total, not 1 feet, as the applicant has stated. And also here several times I've heard stated that this is a densely wooded area. I think if anyone here remembers the photograph from which is on the cover of section 2 of the Sag Harbor Express, a photograph of my wife at the base of the path where we enter from our driveway to our back door, which is our main form of egress to the house. The new structure absolutely looms over us. It is not in a densely wooded area. It's not screened at all. If we can go back to a photograph, I don't have it set up here for it to show, but I hope this is continued so that I will next time be able to do a proper presentation in response to this. But it's absolutely specious, the claim that this isn't a densely wooded area. It is clear as day on top of us. From their site, it looks more densely wooded, but from our site, it doesn't. And that can be proved.
Okay, thank you for your comment.
It can also be proved if the applicant comes through with proper elevation drawings showing the drop in elevation of 6 feet from the grade of where they're putting the porch down to us. One thing else I'd like to add, this is a house that had, before the current owner, already had a huge variation. Variance, I'm sorry. It was originally 30 feet away from the property line. Sometime with the previous owner or the owner before the previous owner, it was granted a variance of an additional 15 feet. So it came within 15 feet of our property line. Now they want to come 14 feet of our property line. And again, with the elevation change of 6 feet, plus they want to come a foot closer, that puts it 7 feet above the grade of where the two properties meet, which is the beginning of the zoning, the pyramid calculation.
Sir, this is enough information to warn us to make sure that we cover all the bases. We'll make a site visit. And of course, we'll be watching closely what the zoning people have to say about this project.
When you make a site visit, can we make sure that we're part of that?
I would have to check with our council. I'm not sure how that would work.
No, we generally, site visits are upon consent of the owner of the property. And it's only to invite board members, not neighbors. We don't have the.
Could I ask that the board members who do visit the site, please come onto our property and experience it from our side at least?
Sir, we take your comments
I
very
don't think it's
seriously.
informative not to, and it seems like the board here has already made a predetermination that it is screened when it hasn't been screened. So the only way.
Excuse me, sir. Sir,
Yes.
we take you very seriously. Your comments are taken very seriously. I'm sorry,
Okay.
we will be on your site and we'll make sure that we know exactly what's going on with this.
Okay, we invite you onto the site anytime you want.
Thank you.
Open invitation.
Okay, Val?
I want to recognize the neighbors' comments. And other than that, no comment.
Bob Adams?
I have no comment.
Bethany?
No comment.
Judith?
Same.
Okay, great. Okay. I make a motion to
Table.
table 8 Dartmouth, please.
Very good,
I'll
thank you.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So that was myself and Judith. 58 Palmer Terrace.
And Brian will set up the site visit, right? With
Yes, absolutely.
Sean Leonard for the architect. I'm the architect for 58 Palmer Terrace.
Oh. New architect.
Share your screen, please.
Yes. Just can you see that?
Not just yet.
Not yet.
Not sure what just happened.
John,
Yes.
can you
I'm
not
trying
get
to-
on?
Yep, I'm gonna try and stop it.
Okay.
Can I try again?
Yes, go ahead.
Doing the same.
Okay, let me see. I can.
Can you bring up the site plan?
Okay, there you go.
Thank you. So I had been before this board a couple of years ago for this property in which there was going to be an addition put onto the house. We did have a pool, and none of that is going to be going forward. We're going forward with. As you can see from the new proposed site plan that we have here, the existing house is staying as is, and the the existing curb cut off of Germain would remain. What we're proposing here is to, we have a new pool design that we have placed that would be right off of the accessory building that is on the property. And we have a bluestone patio that would be going around. Because of the grade change from the house over to the accessory building, we have the proposed retaining wall, which would be 2 feet high on that side, the house side of the pool. We have it all screened off with which what we originally had was the arborvitaes running around the property, and the fence would just be a pool compliant, metal fence that would be inside of the tree hedge that goes around 4 feet high and color black.
I just have a couple quick questions. The gate on the south side of the house, what the detail of that is, and also the fencing and the gate detail on the north side, if you will. And then the other thing is that you're impacting or proposing to remove a 4-foot oak tree, which is diameter oak tree, which looks like if you have an opportunity to play around with the design of the pool a little bit to really make the site work with that existing tree. I would just like to hear your comments regarding those.
So as far as the tree, there's 2 issues. One, yes, we are proposing to remove the tree, and part of it is for the pool. The other is we are looking to upgrade the sanitary system on this property. And the location of where that sanitary was to be placed, I believe also had an impact on the roots of this tree, which was right there off of in the front.
Looks like you have a lot of room to play with the sanitary system, or at least it would be helpful if you could present us with that is the only option to remove a 4-foot diameter tree.
The other concern, I think the concern also does have to, is the root system is quite large on a tree like that.
Maybe a letter from an arborist, because I don't know, I've seen construction here and there regarding oak trees, and you could certainly make the pool smaller. I think with this plan that the tree is, I guess, 9 feet away or so. But I would almost encourage you to relook at the pool design to save that mature tree, or at least come up with some options, maybe replacing oak trees with the same caliper. Maybe you would use 8 of these things to make up the same caliper, but I would strongly recommend revisiting the design of this pool to make that property work with that tree. Especially, I think that tree holds a lot. It catches the house. It's indigenous to this space and the streetscape, and it's just it would be unfortunate to lose some 90-year-old tree for not accommodating it with reducing the size of the pool. But I can run through the board and get the feel for that.
Okay. I also believe the owner of the property is on as well. I don't know if you have any questions for them too.
Judith, do you have comments regarding removing the tree and the design of this pool?
Hi, hello, how are you?
Excuse me, I just would like to run through my board, please.
My first comment is that I am so delighted that you are not doing anything to the house. I'm just jumping up and clapping my heels together. I would hate to lose that tree. I think that would be a tragedy. And I imagine that the pool and the septic something could be done with it. That's all.
Williams?
I'm sorry, Dean, did you call on me?
I did.
Okay, yeah, I think your comments are well taken. It is nice to protect these older trees, and I think that it's worthy of a second look in terms of the redesigning or relocating the pool.
Val?
Yeah, well, if you're going to propose keeping the tree, that's not going to be too good for the pool. I was going to say, if you took the tree out and, plant something decent in its place, but it doesn't appear it's going in that direction. So maybe a reorientation of the pool would be okay. But that's my thought. I personally think that if the tree were replaced, it would be fine. But I don't see a picture of it, so I'm not going to comment further.
Bob Adams?
I think that the tree could be moved and just replant something else in a different area.
Bethany?
Bethany, you're muted.
Bethany Dearman?
She's muted.
Bethany? Architect.
Bethany, you're not muted anymore.
Okay, so you can hear me?
Yes.
Hello. Oh,
Do you have
thank
comments?
well, I would say either way, really. I understand of not wanting to lose the tree, and I would be interested in seeing what you could come up with moving the pool somehow or whatever. So I would be in favor of not cutting the tree down.
Yeah, so applicant, we'll ask for comments from the owner, but I would really come up with a couple plans here, even replacing in caliper the same type of oak tree throughout the property would be of great interest to us. But I think you could redesign that pool space. But with that, would the owner like to make comments?
Yes, hello, members of the board. We obviously really tried to do everything possible to think of how to save the tree, and exactly what Sean was explaining before, the roots. There's two issues. One is that when we proposed the original design of the house and it was approved by the ARB, I believe it was like 3 years ago, just because of the way that the pool has to be, the limitations on the sides, the way it has to be placed, there was no way of really doing it without having to remove the tree. And so we tried to work on designs, but we have setbacks from what I understand from the Germain side and from the side of our neighbor, that makes it the space where we could put the pool is very limited. And at the same time, right now we have these septic systems that are just not working. And so we're going to replace them for the new upgraded systems. And after speaking to engineers and going back and forth with Tom and seeing a little bit like how to do this, the only way to do it was, removing the tree. So at this point, I really like the idea of like seeing if there's anything that we could, replace, move it, use something else instead of that tree. But the root system is so very big and that there's no way to build around that. And it's just, there's no way to do the pool in the backyard because of the setbacks.
Thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
So applicants, if you could provide us with proof that the septic system does fit between the house and the tree and there's no other option for that, that'd be great. There's another option of making the pool smaller. There's another option to present to us, possibly replacing several oak trees that will equal the caliper of the tree you wish to take down. But we would like to see proof of all the claims that you're stating to take out this large tree. It's a large property. I think there's room to work with this a little bit. It's an 80-year-old tree, and we're a preservation board, and that would be my recommendation. And also the gate design would be super important for us to review.
Okay, we'll come back to you with those for your next meeting.
Great, thank you. I'll make a motion to table 58 Palmer Terrace. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, that's, I made the motion. Judith second. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. 30 Meadowlark.
Thank you.
Meadowlark Lane, please.
So it's Sean Leonard, architect for 30 Meadowlark.
There you go.
I'm afraid to pull it up on my screen share. So if you could pull up this site plan of 30 Meadowlark, I'd appreciate it. So again, Sean Leonard. So for this, we have been before this board, and originally for a new house is being constructed, and the stone driveway was on the other side of the property, and due to the conditions of the sanitary system having to get put into place and meet current setbacks, the sanitary now runs along the front of the property, along with, along Meadowlark Lane there. And so it runs in a spot that we couldn't put the driveway there because we would be over the sanitary system. So we're actually proposing to put the stone driveway onto the other side. So we'd be entering from that side instead. We do have, and I did present into the, you should have in the packet of drawings, the drawing of the gate and fence that we're proposing on either side of the house. So it'll just be a white picket fence that we have 4 feet high on both sides. And then there's the garbage enclosure. Any questions?
Back to that site plan. Carrie? And then the driveway, it's just a picky thing. You're supposed to maintain that 5-foot setback from the property line.
5 feet there.
You're maintaining the 5 feet?
Yes, we'll make sure I maintain the 5 feet, yes.
Great, so I'll note that. Okay, Bethany, comments?
I'm fine with this plan.
Judith?
Totally fine.
Steve?
I'm fine with it.
Val?
Yep, we're good.
Bob?
I'm good with it.
Do I have a motion to approve 30 Meadowlark?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
Who's the second on that? Steve?
Yeah, I'm second.
That's Judith and Steve. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.
Great, thank you.
Sag Harbor Yacht Club, please.
Anybody here for Sag Harbor Yacht Club?
Okay, possibly we'll second call that. Patrick Malloy, 1A Bay Street.
That
Patrick Malloy,
I believe it's
84 High Street.
Dean, I believe it's a sign. Can we move on the Malloy sign?
So we'll hold off on the canopy, which is the Sag Harbor Yacht Club. Are they just Carrie, the Sag Harbor Yacht Club, are they just replacing the existing awning?
No, I believe they're adding and making the canopy, like the picnic area, bigger. But I'm not 100% sure on that. Dennis Downs is representing that.
Yeah, it was hard reading the plan.
Okay, so we need representation on that one. Okay, so to Mrs. Dearman's point, can we take a look at the Malloy property?
Yes. I spoke to Dennis earlier. He knew about it.
Hey there. Am I with you?
Yes.
Okay.
Are you here for Ava's?
Yes, I'm. My name is Christine Caravella. I work for Hampton Signs. I'm representing them.
Thank you. What is your name?
Christine Caravella.
Christine.
Yes.
Okay, Christine, what do you have?
Well, we've got 2 awnings. As you can see here, you have the valance below with the lettering in white and above the gold A prints. Let me just pull up my other file here.
Do you have more pictures or do you want, I can share?
She's showing.
That whoever's got that under control, that's perfect. That's pretty much what we
Okay.
have.
All right.
They are hoping to,
Is that the
get your
extent of
approval.
the signage?
Yes, it's just the two awnings that they're adding. It sounds like they have started sharing a consignment store inside, so they're representing Ava's as well as Around Again with the awnings.
Bob Adams, do you have comments?
Yeah. How far do these protrude out?
Sorry?
How far do the signs protrude out?
They
Awnings.
come out, I believe that is 2 feet.
Regular awning size, I would think.
Are they there already?
No.
There's no awnings there?
Correct.
This is the side of the parking lot, correct? Not the wharf.
I
No, this
believe
is
it's the street side.
This
Are
is the
there
wharf.
It is okay. It's the wharf. Okay.
Are there dimensions somewhere in this application?
Yes, there should be. There are also dimensions on the mock-up above here.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Val, comments? Val?
No.
Judith?
I think they look quite nice.
Steve?
Thank you.
I think it's fine.
Bethany?
I actually would like to make the motion.
Go ahead.
I'll move for the Malloy 1A Bay Street signs.
There's a second?
I'll second.
Bethany and Val, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much.
84 High Street.
That's me, Carrie.
Okay.
Oh, who's me?
David Burridge.
Look who's here.
Oh,
Hey, David.
How you all doing?
David.
You're still all having fun.
Nice to see you.
I'm still in the same place. Okay, so you going to show it, Carrie, or do you want to have me save the screen?
I can do it if you'd like.
Yeah, I can blow it up if you want. Your choice. I mean, ask questions.
All right, go ahead.
Survey. So this is a lot. It's a wooded. We have the luxury of having a property that goes between Prospect and High Street. There were two lots. Lot 22 was completely wooded. We want to put a little 10 by 9 storage shed for the lawnmower and trash way in the woods, and then put 2 fences. One is between ourselves and Rick Pickering and Gail, so they don't look at the shed and some of the stuff we have at the back of the property. And then we also have a property to our west, which has got a big pool, and they haven't screened it, and we see all their pool furniture and all their goings on, so we want to put up a fence there.
Just show us your details.
Yeah, on the second sheet, Carrie. Do you want me to show it?
I got it.
Oh, yeah.
Got it. Oh, yeah. I remember.
So David, walk us through this fine design.
Okay, as I said, so in the wooded half lot, which goes through to Prospect Street, there's just a little 9-foot by 6-foot shed in the woods, and then we've got a fence between the shed and the Pickering's property next to us, so they don't have to look at the shed. And then we've also got another fence up on the other side. If you look at drawing number 9, it's between our existing outbuilding and the neighbor's pool we want to screen.
Great presentation, David. Thank you very much. You don't know how much I mean that.
Yeah.
Judith, comments?
I think it looks lovely. I'm curious, is it all right to put a shed on a separate lot that's, the lot is?
No, it is all one lot. Just that when they divided Sag Harbor, it was all these different lots, but it's been the same lot for the last 70 years.
Oh, so it's actually just one giant piece of property that goes all the way. So anyway, I think it looks great.
Thank you.
Nice to see you, David.
Yeah, good to see you all. Keep up the good work.
I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Chairman. That we accept the proposal as presented at 84 High.
Okay.
Anybody second?
I
Second.
Second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great.
Thank you.
103 Main Street. Thank you, David.
Thanks, guys and ladies.
Okay, David.
Thank you, sir.
103 Main Street.
Anybody here for 103 Main Street? 103 Main Street.
103 Main Street. We'll make a second call. 43 Suffolk.
Hey, good evening. My name is Tim Deline. I represent the owner at 43 Suffolk Street. May I share my screen?
Yes.
Please.
Okay. So I'm just going to talk about it first, and then I'm going to show some pictures. So in general, what we're looking to do is replace an existing metal fence with a painted white fence, and then replace 2 existing stone walkways with a just different stone. The existing fence at 43 Suffolk Street is metal. We plan to remove this fence and replace this with a painted wood fence similar to, or actually exactly the same as 27 Suffolk Street, which is right down the street. We also plan to replace the stone pass leading to the end stoop, leading to the front door and the side door as shown in the pictures. And this would be replaced with a stone called Coda Stone, which is also the same as 27 Suffolk Street. So I'm going to show the existing conditions, and I can zoom in on these pictures. It's the front fence that we're talking about. It goes along the Suffolk Street. Right now it's metal. It looks like this. You can see a couple angles of it. And also this is the front walkway here that's going to be replaced and the stoop. And then this is the side entrance and the stone stoop and walkway that will be replaced with the new stone. This is just another angle of the fence located on Suffolk Street. The next section is photos of 27 Suffolk Street, which we plan to do the same thing. So let's see, let me just back up for a second. So here's the fence that we're looking to do. This is the white painted fence. And then this is the exact stone that we are looking to do as well. And there's just
of the fence.
Of that.
Do you have details of the fence?
This is details of the fence right here.
We need an architectural detail calling out the material and the sizes and the elevation and stuff. I think it's wonderful. The Coda Stone you undersold, that's a beautiful stone. Matches some of the old Sag Harbor ballast stone. Comes from India. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Nice.
But we do require
really look good.
a
Really
quick
nice.
architectural detail of, the material, the size, the spacing, and all that good stuff.
Okay, even if it's a direct replica of what's happening at 27 Suffolk?
Yeah, it's kind of professional. It's nice to have that in the file and something we can stamp and something someone else can go out in the field and approve. Anyone from the board have comments regarding the fence and the stone?
I have one question, which is how close is 27 to your house?
Well, I represent the owner, but let's see, that's 27. The house that I represent the owner for is 43 Suffolk Street. I mean, we could pull up Google Maps if you want and just.
I just wonder how close they are together because I think it's a very nice look. I just didn't want it to look like a housing development where everybody has the same fence and the same walk and the same.
No,
It's a ways away.
Okay.
Yeah, and even in this, there's a street actually. I forget the name of the street.
Yeah.
Intersecting it right here. You
Either
can-
Amity or
One of
might
those
be
two.
Amity, one of those little streets there on the side.
Uh-huh.
Steve, comments?
Great.
No comment. It's fine.
Val?
No, it looks great.
Judith, you made your comment. Bethany?
It's good.
Okay. I really do. I would appreciate you probably will not have to come back unless, there's a big problem with the detail, but if you could get, submit the proper paperwork, you probably don't have to show up next meeting.
Okay, and just for clarification, you're just looking for the details on the wood fence.
How you're going to build that, the columns, everything, and how that's going to work. We need to see it on the survey, something that we can
Yeah, I
put
mean,
it
we
to
just
bed and
drew
put it
an
in the
out-
file, and it's
like we just
maintained.
drew a basic thing on the survey where we're going to put it, but you need to have a professionally done.
No,
No, this is good, right?
know where you're
Tim,
actually on.
it's
your
not that
property.
complicated, Tim. If you go to the Walpole website,
Mm-hmm.
you'll find a CAD detail for a typical fence. Just give a dimension on the height, the post dimension, and also the picket spacing
Okay.
and what you're going to paint it with. And that's a good reference for what the board looks for.
All right, appreciate it.
Great.
I would like to see where this fence is on the survey. If you could call it out exactly. You could use these markers the way you've
Yeah,
indicated.
it's, green,
It's not
this
clear to
green
me.
line just right on Suffolk Street here.
It's going to replace the fence that's there, right? So
Exactly.
it would be
Exact
right
location.
over the
Okay, great.
black line.
Beautiful. Okay.
All right, and so you said you don't require me at the next meeting, just these details.
Yes, please. Yep.
Okay, understood. And that's
Okay, I
it
make
for
a
late-
motion to close table 43 Suffolk Street. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great. So that was me and Val. 29 Main Street? 29 Main Street, please. 103 Main Street. And Sag Harbor Yacht Club. Okay, 227 Main Street.
Do you want to again look at the sign or no? On 29. It's a sign. It's an awning. It's a name change on the awning.
Carrie, can you bring up 29 Main Street, please?
I think that's what's there now.
And can you show us the sign, Carrie?
There's a picture in the file, I believe, of this on the awning. It shows you, like on the awning
Right.
somewhere. I saw it.
Okay, I make a motion to approve 29 Main Street. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That was me and Mrs. Dearman. 227 Main Street, please. Okay, 29 Prospect.
Hi there, everyone. It's David Filer from Whalen Filer, PLLC, 532 Montauk Highway, Amagansett, and I represent the owners of 29 Prospect Avenue. That's Dan Weiss and Amy Burkauer. How are you all tonight?
Great, you?
Good. Thank you.
Nice to see you. So we're before the board for applying for a certificate of appropriateness for installation of a generator behind 29 Prospect Avenue. And I'm glad to share my screen, or I'm not sure if Carrie, if you want to pull it up. I just thought we'd look at a couple of photos and the survey to show you all where the proposed generator would go.
You can share your screen.
Okay, thanks, Carrie. Let's see if this works. Can you all see this so far?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'll just start with some photos. So that's 29 Prospect Avenue. Dan and Amy think it was built around 1886. They've owned it for 41 years.
Mhm.
The proposed generator obviously will be behind the house. This is what it looks like from Prospect Avenue. Okay, there's a winter view of their pool and patio. This is sort of looking from the Prospect Avenue side, or if you're standing here, Prospect Avenue and Bay Street would be behind you. The proposed location is back inside of those cedar trees in the corner. So you see the covered pool, and there's kind of a lattice fence that's where their pool equipment is. The generator would be behind that pool equipment, but inside the vegetated area. And we found a location where they don't have to disturb the arborvitae at all.
Do you have a survey showing that it meets everything that you need to meet?
I do. Yeah, there's just another backyard. Dean, do you want me to skip to that, or do you want to?
Yeah, it sounds good.
Okay. There's the front again. Sorry. I'll just.
It's a lovely property.
There's that's I'm shooting that picture from where the generator would be. It's sort of the back corner of the property, and those stakes that you see are where the generator would fit. It's a 3x5 concrete pad that holds this thing. And survey. You'll see that. Let's see here. Okay, so Prospect is out front here. We're looking at this back corner. It's very screened. I mean, the arborvitae you see are all in this back corner.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
Board members who would like to propose a motion?
I'll make the motion, Mr. Chairman.
I need a second.
I'll second.
That's Bethany, Judith. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Good presentation. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. Nice to see you. Have a good night.
You too.
Bye-bye.
68 Hempstead.
Right here.
Great. Can you present your name, please, to the board?
Sure.
Your project.
My name is, good evening, Mr. Chairman and board. My name is Darius Khan, and I'm here on behalf of Mary Norton and Robert Diamond. The purpose why I'm here is would like to present a plan to build a screened-in porch on the top of the existing deck in the back of the house. May I share my screen, please?
Yes, you may.
Okay, I'm sorry about it. First time doing this. Carrie, could you actually pull up the survey?
Yes.
I'm in trouble. My preferences doesn't allow it for some reason.
Okay.
So. And the survey, if it's you could find it, please.
Darius,
Yes.
this is all that we were sent, is this and this.
Okay, I have a survey with me. I'll try to start it up on my screen, maybe later, but
You can email it to me and I can pull it up that way, but this is all that we were sent in the PDF.
okay. So can you leave the 3D photo here? Actually, do you have a JPEG that I sent you of the property? I emailed it to you. It's in your email.
I believe this is what we got, but I will look.
Do you have any comments on this property?
I'm sorry?
Zach?
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I'm a little perplexed because this is listed in the nomination as a contributing building from the 1850s, and from the angle that we're looking at it, I'm I'm not getting that, so I'm not
Okay,
sure.
so can everybody see the survey?
We can.
Yes.
Okay, so if you look to the back of the house, you see Hampstead Street up front. And if you look at the back, it shows a proposed porch over existing deck.
Right.
So there is an existing deck, which is 12 by 26. And we would like to build a screened-in porch on the top of the existing deck, which is much smaller, is only 12 foot by 18 and a half. And the purpose why the homeowners want it is to protect them from summer heat and mosquitoes, because as you know, there is a Sag Harbor Bay right across Hampstead Street, and on summer, if the wind is a certain direction, mosquitoes just fly in over, and it's impossible to be there in the back.
You want to take a look at this property?
Sure.
Zach?
Yeah, it'd be interesting because the question might arise is how much of this is going to be visible from Hempstead Street, since it's a contributing building.
Actually, from Hampstead Street, you probably will not be able to see it at all.
Well, that's what a site visit would determine.
Oh, yes, sure, of course.
Mrs. Deering, did you have a comment?
Well, I was agreeing that I feel that it won't be, you won't see it. But, I think it's, if it's a contributing structure, so I would think we should see it.
Darius, do you mind if we stop by and take a look with our consultant?
Absolutely. I'm available anytime. Carrie, just let me know when you have to be there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I make a motion to table 68 Hempstead, and thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you,
That's
Steve.
me and Steve.
Thank
All in
you.
favor?
And
Opposed?
Dean, 227 Main Street is on the phone, I believe.
Oh, geez.
And he couldn't hear, but he just asked me for the Zoom link again. So maybe we'll just go on to the next one, and if he shows
Yeah,
it,
we have to go on to the next one.
Okay.
69 Redwood, please. 69 Redwood.
Oh,
Okay, we'll second that. 38 Meadowlark, please. 38 Meadowlark.
Yes.
hey,
Hi, Mr. Chairman, this is Jim Grimes and my assistant Neve Haggerty. And we have a proposal for you guys. We unfortunately, we did a retaining wall on this property without the understanding of it requiring a certificate of appropriateness. So it's something I don't like to do. It's an after the fact situation. And that's what we're before you for
If you
tonight.
have photos and drawings and you can walk us through
Yes,
it,
we do. If Carrie, if you
I'm
can
getting
put
it.
those.
I'm getting it. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
So here's the.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, this is the survey, and this is as-built. This survey was updated in January. So this shows that dimensionally the timber crib walls are well within inside the property line. The maximum overall height on this wall is 3 feet at its highest, which is just about where you see stockade fence. above the 87.93 is where it reaches its maximum height. As you can see in the survey, it abuts an existing stockade fence, which is the neighbor's. So it's not visible from that neighbor's side. And where the stockade fence continues around, again, there's a neighbor with another stockade fence, and there's just about a 20 or 30 foot section where it really is only about 2 to 2.5 foot in height that is visible from what's described as the Clark property, which it doesn't show in this survey, but that actually is almost like a dog leg or a right of way. It's just this very narrow little strip of land that abuts my client.
Take a moment. Elizabeth, what's the code on the wall and the property line, please?
The walls have to be 3 feet back, I believe.
3 feet, for 3 feet off the property line.
Right, I believe so.
That's my understanding.
For retaining walls.
Yep. So, okay, so Mr. Grimes, let's just continue with the rest of this, and then we're gonna have to figure out how to, where we go from here.
All right. Well, the proposal was to basically install Western arborvitae, identical to what's found on the property in the other areas. You can see the unhighlighted our existing arborvitaes on the property. It was just basically screening the backyard, add a couple of crepe myrtles along that back line. And what there is, Mr. Chairman, is if you look up to the north, there is an existing Norway maple, which is really, it's kind of a health and safety hazard. It's a typical Norway maple in the village there. It probably was never actually planted. It's multi-leadered. It's got an included bark situation. There's already some stress cracks appearing there that we were proposing removing and replacing with a 6-inch Eastern red maple, a little bit south of where the existing one is now. The pre-existing tree is impinging on a dogwood, and probably would be better suited to be a little bit shifted down a bit.
It looks like that's in the easement. So, I mean, I like the plan, but there are issues that need to be resolved, which we can't resolve tonight. The tree, I guess the village will have to take a look at the tree and make a determination on that.
Mr. Chairman, D. Yardley did come by and look at this tree some time ago, and he concurred with our evaluation of the tree. But he's not here tonight. Perhaps we can get some documentation from him to.
And then we'll have to talk to council about these retaining walls and how we rectify the situation.
Okay.
So that's where we are. I mean, it looks like a great plan, but we just need to iron out some of these things. So, Carrie, the village is going to have to verify that there's a problem with this tree on their property and how that's going to be resolved. And then I guess I'll reach out to Liz after this meeting sometime, and we'll get back to you if you don't mind, Mr. Grimes.
Not a problem. There's quite a bit of time has passed here. Do we have some sense of a timeline here?
I'll talk to council tomorrow morning, and then we'll get back to you.
I very much appreciate that.
If you don't meet the setbacks, you have to go to ZBA. That's the issue.
Well, I mean, there's two alternatives here. If we don't meet the setback, fortunately, the way these walls were constructed was they were done with Teflon fasteners. So the wall, I'm going to be honest, it could be disassembled and could be adjusted.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
So if Mr. Chairman and the board, if that's a condition and it would expedite this, I think we would be very, we made the mistake here. We'd be very willing to.
I know we've had people move houses and things. So there's just a code and a law that we have to abide by. So
no, I understand. I understand. I totally understand. And like I said, this was an error that was made on our end. And I'm embarrassed about it, and we'll do whatever we can to remediate that.
We'll get back to you the next, I guess by Monday or possibly tomorrow.
All right.
See where we go.
Well, thank you very much and appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, I make a motion to table 38 Meadowlark.
Who's second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
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 So that was Dean and Judith.
Thank you.
24 High Street.
Good evening. Anthony Vermandois, 68 Union Street. So what we're proposing here is a swimming pool, pool house, and pergola on the property. You can see, Carrie, if you could bring up the site plan S1.
Okay, hold on one moment.
Okay. So you can see that it's a sort of an L-shaped property. The main house is there up pretty close to High Street in the big black box there. We're proposing a small pergola off of that house. We'll get to the detail on that in a moment. But then in the corner of the L there is where we're proposing the swimming pool and pool house. And it's basically kind of at that angle to fit in with the various setbacks for those structures. The pool house itself is going to be, that's on P1, basically just a scaled down version of the main house, with the trim details and whatnot and materials to match the main house. The swimming pool is 29 by 14 with an 8 by 8 spa, bluestone coping and patio. The property is, yeah, so there's the pool house, basically, and the pool and the details for that. Then if you go up, Carrie, could you just go back to S1, please? Sorry. So the property is pretty well screened as it is with existing stockade fence, mostly 6 foot tall stockade fence. There's kind of a bare area in the south corner of the property, which is actually facing into a wooded area. But I suppose theoretically that wooded area could be developed at some point in time. So we're proposing a row of green giants there. And then some ship laurel just to soften the fence between the property and the house. That's to the I think that's to the northwest side there. And then jumping ahead to A1, that is just showing the pergola, just a 8 foot 8 by 14 foot 4 pergola, painted white, and that's about it.
Can we see the pergola? And Anthony, are there pictures of the existing house?
Yes, I do have, there should be some photos there in the file, one showing that rear elevation. There's a sort of a view of the whole rear yard and then a sort of a close-up of the rear elevation of the house.
Do you see that?
See that? Can we see the next one, if possible? Great, and then if we can go back to the elevation of the pool house, so I can run through the board.
What page is that on, Anthony?
That would be P1.
Anthony, what do you think the stone columns are?
It's growing late, I can tell you.
Go ahead.
That's a burying ground behind there with a crypt in the ground.
Right, next to it, like.
And those are the
next door to
stone
it.
piers. Those are the stone piers spaced at 10-foot intervals that supported a wooden picket fence
Yeah.
that surrounded that entire site.
Okay.
And that related to the Methodist church when it was up the street there
Oh,
before it was moved,
okay, that makes sense. All right.
before it was moved to its present location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun having
So
you
it's
around
very
there.
important that those stone piers not be, they're really on the adjoining property, I guess.
Yeah, I don't think they're on our property. They're
Okay,
they're
'cause-
behind that.
Right, right.
wire
Great.
fence.
Those are important relics. Yeah.
The house, I mean, I'm interested, of course, but the house was built by my great-grandfather.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
My mother was born in that house.
What was
Okay.
that the parsonage to the church?
No.
No, because the parsonage was there too, up the street.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Great history. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Val, how do you feel about this pool house?
I think it's motion worthy.
I agree. How about, did we see the pergola?
No, we didn't.
Busy,
Let's
I
see
was
the
too busy
pergola.
looking at the
We saw
stone.
the footprint, the plan, right.
Yeah, it's on A1 there. So the pergola is just a little structure. You know, if you look at the rear elevation of the house, it's kind of a weird sort of asymmetrical mismatch. And, you know, the pergola is just going to be a freestanding coming off the corner there.
Okay.
So, Carrie, if you could just find that elevation of the pergola, that'd be great. Steve, how do you feel about this project?
What picture is that?
It's
Anthony?
A1 there. So,
So this is it? This is
This
the
is
only-
A1.
yeah,
It's on
so
the
if you
page
scroll
somewhere, so
down
you
a
only see
little,
part of the page.
Just
Okay.
scroll
Yeah,
down, I
Scroll
think.
down, maybe.
There it is.
Okay, thank you.
well, now it's upside down, but
Fixing
Bob,
it.
do you have
That's all right.
feelings about this project?
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Critics.
I think it's fine. Bethany, do you have to recuse yourself since you
No,
really built
not at
it?
this stage, not at this stage. of the game.
Okay, I think it's
20
fine.
years.
I think it's fine.
Bob Adams?
I think
Judith?
I think it's fine.
I make a motion to approve 24 High Street. Is there a second?
I'm second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? That's Dean and Bethany.
Thank you.
Madison Street, please.
great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello?
Yep. State your name.
Hello?
Yes, please state your name.
Hey, this is Steve Kosak, 227 Main Street.
Ah.
No, we're at 31 Madison. 31 Madison, please.
You want to?
Hello.
You can call
We'll
back.
come back to.
Yeah, we'll come back.
Maine.
31 Madison, please.
Okay, great.
Hi.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yes, please state your name for the record.
Hi,
31
Chris
Madison.
Coffey, 31 Madison, on behalf of 595 Realty.
Okay, tell us about your project.
Okay, so I am proposing a new sign outside of the store that is a small wooden sign that is 18 inches by 12 inches high by 18 inches long.
Can we see this sign?
Yes, Carrie, do you have the image?
Yep, I'm pulling it up right now.
Thank you.
And where is this sign being applied?
Right outside, there's antique doors that open up on the existing structure right over the door.
And what is the distance between the edge of the sign and the building?
It's 18 inches long.
From the edge of the sign itself?
I believe that it's about an inch or 2 inches.
Okay, great, because if the code, it's like a foot. It is a foot. Okay, I make a motion to approve 31 Madison, is there a second?
I second.
All, Bob, you can't second.
I got it.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. 12
guys.
Rose Street, please. 12 Rose.
They're on, they're just probably unmuting.
Don't you love it?
Yeah.
Deb, are you on?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Hi.
And tell us about your project.
I am a part of the awning part of the project at 12 Rose Street. And we would like to move the awning. The business has moved from Water Street to 12 Rose Street, and we would like to move the awning over the door. It has already been taken down, I do believe, from Water Street, and we would like to install that. And that's the part I'm involved with.
Do you have photos for us?
Excuse me?
Do you have photos for us?
I do believe that it was included in the application. I don't have the paperwork here. Carrie, if you could.
I'm
put that
looking
up
for it right now.
Thank you.
I didn't have it.
I mean, I could Google map it for you. It's on, Google Maps still has it on on their maps.
Hold on one moment. I'm pulling it up.
Okay. And then I do believe he does have an application for a sign as well. Sean is on the phone in the meeting. I am not involved in that part of the application.
It's all in one application, so hold on.
Well, we paid 2 fees. Is that it's one application but 2 fees? Is that it? Okay. We're halfway there, sir.
Sean, are you on?
Yes, I'm here.
Do you have a copy of the proposed pictures?
I sent everything in with the file. There was a photo of the sign.
I know, but we do require a PDF. So I was just seeing if you emailed it in. Hold on.
Okay, I did ask if we had everything, and a PDF was not brought to my attention. I apologize for not submitting that. But I did ask if we had everything, and I'm learning the process, and I would like to run smoothly through the process. And I did not see that on the application to provide a PDF. So I apologize for missing that information. Because I could have certainly scanned it in easily.
Carrie, do we have anything to look at?
I'm looking. It was sent, but it's not letting me pull it up. So that's why I'm looking. I'm not ignoring you guys. My computer isn't letting me pull up anything. I'm trying to pull it up online.
Okay, if I give me just a minute and I'll try and.
So,
So yes, it's a yellow and white striped awning that was on the business on Water Street, just, a month or so ago.
Well, the sign and the awning is still on the 34 West Water Street. And
Is it?
so
Okay.
well, yeah. And so it's just of moving the signage and the awning to the new building on 12 Rose Street.
The board has to see what it looks like. So
Sure, I'm trying to,
I have it. I can't pull it up on my screen, but I have a picture of it. So hold on one moment, everybody.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, do you mind if I ask, do either of the applicants have copies of these pictures?
They don't.
They don't.
So this is what it was.
it's just the door awning. It's not the ones over the windows at this point.
But we're
Yellow and white,
we're considering the entire application.
right.
So
So it's the yellow and white door.
we understand that neither of you have a picture of this, so.
There it is. Carrie just has it up. There's the yellow and white.
Look at me. I can't pull it up. I don't know why it's not pulling up on my screen. I can't get
See the
internet.
awning over the door?
Any
We're
bigger,
looking to
bigger.
move that to 12, the side of the building of 12 Water Street. Or
12
12
Rose
Rose
Street.
Street, 12 Rose Street.
And is that the sign in question above it, the black sign?
Yes, it's the exact same stuff going over to their 12 Rose Street address.
New business.
No, I have it on my computer. It won't let me pull any of my email up. or
Are there
anything.
any signs on that building now?
No,
A sign or anything? Nothing?
No, there isn't.
This is what it's going to look like on Rose Street. The sign.
Oh, okay. There you go.
do I have a motion to approve 12 Rose Street?
I'll make that.
Is there a second?
Yep.
Somebody has a question or no? We're good?
No.
No.
Who's doing the second?
Bethany did.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. All in
Thank you.
favor?
All right.
Aye.
Opposed?
Oh, it's down.
227 Main Street, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you, Carrie.
Hello.
Steve,
Hello,
we will
it's
call
Steve
on you when your second time is, when the second call is up.
You just called
227
227 Main Street.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
That is me.
Okay,
That's
great.
it.
Thank you.
Okay, please state your name for the record. and
Hi,
tell
it's
us about your
it's
project.
Steve Kosak. I'm the owner of 227 Main Street.
Okay, great. So what are we
And
discussing?
there are three issues here. Let's go from the easiest to the hardest. The first issue is putting up a 6-foot fence along part of the property line between me and my neighbor to the north.
Is there a graphic that we can reference?
There was I gave you the survey. It's a property line. It's a hill slanting up, and I just want to put in a 6-foot paneled fence.
Carrie, do we have that survey, and is there a detail of the fence or something that we can look at?
No, there wasn't a detail. It's a 6-foot fence with panel, an inset panel. It's a standard thing. I mean, if you want me to, in 2 weeks, I'll send you a picture, but I thought it was fairly standard.
So there are many panel fences. We just want to know what this is and where it is on a survey.
Well, the survey, it's marked. It's behind it's the property line between myself, behind the garage. Do you have the survey there?
Carrie, do we have a survey?
We lost here.
I am trying to get my computer to let me pull things up as the same thing as before. I'm trying.
Thank you.
Okay, let's go on while she's doing that, and to the second, which is there's a large maple tree near my house. I had AJ Remy over here a couple of weeks ago. I've been told for 20 years to pull it out. It's partially hollow. It's leaning towards the house. And if it falls, it's going to create havoc. So I'd like permission to take it out.
Okay, so it'd be great to maybe take a site visit. I know you had a couple of Japanese maples over there. It'd be great to take a look at the tree, so we could do a site visit and go
sure,
take a
you're
look
welcome.
at that. Or you could get a letter from an
Absolutely.
arborist.
Okay, I can get a letter from AJ. That's not a problem.
And can is it all right if we take a look at this plant?
Sure.
Okay, great. And is that on the survey? Do we know where this tree
It's
is?
right to the left of the main. It's right to the left of the main door. It's a big old tree.
Okay, great.
I mean, it's a shame to take it down, but on the other hand, it's going to fall at some point and it's going to, you know, crash into the house.
Okay, so let's get the and the third thing.
And the third thing is I want to add a conservatory off the back of the house. And I just sent you a schematic. Obviously, if I'm told that I can proceed at least theoretically with having this thing built, I will then produce plans for it. But I don't think the company that would produce the plans wants 50% down before they'll produce the plans. So it's a little bit of a catch-22.
Okay, so there's nothing that we're looking at. We know this is a historic structure, and then, you know, it'd be great to have, you know, lot coverage. I know we have a lot going on with this property and how that all this comes together. You know what I mean?
Well, you have lot coverage. I just had a new survey done.
With this new structure that you're adding to it?
Yeah, and it has the lot coverage. And Harry should have it.
Are there elevations?
You're not going to be able to see it because it's pretty small.
Right.
But I can't pull. I can't pull it up. I can't pull anything up, and I can only navigate through Zoom. I don't know what's going on. I'm
What I'd
sorry.
like to do is, this is a historic structure. Zach, we should take a look.
Yeah, I think.
And grab a couple members and take a look.
Sure.
Listen, so the main house has an 18th century kitchen wing. This is off the back of the kitchen wing. None of the windows are original. And it would require taking 2 windows in the back out and moving 2 windows up.
Is that, can I ask you a question, sir?
Sure.
Is that a holly tree? Is this
Yes.
sunroom going to be where the holly tree is now?
Exactly.
So what is your
Exactly.
plan? What is your plan with the holly tree?
I'm going to give it to somebody who's going to take it away.
It's
not a
Let's
historic
leave it
tree.
here. Let's regroup and get our
Okay.
ducks in a row and set up a
I was
meeting
just
for
curious.
227 Main Street with our historic consultant. And we'll start from there. And I think that's where we have to go.
Are you going to contact me and I can show you the plans and yes?
Steve, I will contact you and we will set up a site visit, and then you
Perfect.
can submit me all of the documents that you need to submit.
Great.
Thank you. So I'll
Perfect.
talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you very
Okay,
much,
so I make a
everyone. Thank
motion
you.
to table 22 Main Street. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's
Opposed?
227 Main Street.
227. Yeah.
Okay. Discussion item 3 Brandywine Drive.
Colby, you have to stop. Hi.
Hi,
Can anyone
state your
hear
name,
me?
please, and tell us about your project.
Okay, hi, Mr. Chairman. My name is Bonnie Hillman, and I am building a house on 3 Brandywine and a pool house. And I hopefully, Carrie, will be able to pull up my plans. It's a very basic house. It was inspired by the architect who designed my friend's house on Mitchell's Lane. And that architect did Topping Rose. It's just a very simple, beautiful, I think, beautiful design. I'm not in the historic area. I actually pay taxes to both Sag Harbor and East Hampton. So my property borders East Hampton. So I'm sort of on the edge of the village. And Carrie, what would you like to see first?
Bonnie, I'm trying because my computer isn't letting me pull things up. So,
I mean, I can do the share screen thing and show the plans from mine.
so if you can, that would be great.
Okay. Let me see if I can do that.
If you just, I can help you through it. If you just pull up the folder, and then
Okay.
you're gonna hit share on the bottom, or it's gonna say new share.
Does it have to be on the folder? Or can it be from my email?
It can be from your email.
Oh, good. Okay, I'd rather do it that way. Okay. Okay, I'll do the share. And share.
There you go.
Okay, so can you see what's on my screen?
We see your pointer. There's nothing. It's just a white page at this time.
Okay, let's see. Can you see that?
No.
Okay, because that's on my email, but let me try it from the folder on my desktop. See if I can do it that way. Can you see that?
You have to keep hitting share or new share on the bottom.
Oh, new share. Share. Can you see it now?
No, we just see your cursor.
Okay, so I see it on my screen. I'm not sure
On YouTube.
why it's not showing on your end. Let me try that. Yes, Goldie, can you help me, please? My daughter will help me. Okay, I need to share this with them on, why isn't it sharing?
It says you were screen sharing.
I know, but it's not sharing.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay.
It says you're screen sharing though.
I know, but it's not sharing. I don't know why.
All we see is a white screen.
Screen. Wait, go up again. Click up. Go up. Okay, wait.
New share.
New share. Whiteboard. Safari. No. This.
Okay.
Forward plans. And you.
Oh, there we go.
Hey, that a girl.
Yeah. Grade 8 student. No. Okay. Okay. So, is that it? Can you see it now?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Now you can just go through your pictures.
Okay, thank you, Carrie. Okay, so this is the house, but actually this picture, I'll just scroll through here so you can see the front. Okay, so, this is it. So basically, it's just a very simple design. It's going to have an asphalt black roof with the architectural tile. The cladding will be white shiplap, 4-inch board with a 5/8 inch gap. And the windows are 6 by 6. They're black windows, and they will sort of surround the door as you see here. It's a recessed entrance that's 7 foot wide and 6 foot deep. And it just has a very sort of narrow awning over the top because I need to maintain and stay within the building envelope. And the back of the house, as you can see here, has windows that sort of spread across, allowing light into all the bedrooms. And then these are all sliding doors. There's 2 picture windows here and another slider here. And then this is a door that leads to a bathroom that will give access from the pool to a bathroom in the house for kids needing to shower and that sort of thing. And then from the side, you can see this side actually faces Horizon because the block is on a corner. It's Brandywine and Horizon. So from Horizon, you'll see, actually from Horizon is this with the garage and the window over the top. This no one will really see because this faces the reserve that you can't really see from anywhere. And let's see. Okay, this was a lot larger at one time. They asked me to make it smaller. When we sent it in, it was actually 20 scale, and they asked me to make it 30, so you could barely see it. But this is the site plan. So you can see here's Brandywine, here's Horizon, a long horizon, and I can show you the landscape plan. I'm putting either green, I have green giants there, but I'm was going to ask permission to possibly switch to Leland cypress. So all along here will be Leland cypress and big, hopefully Leland cypress to block and act as a screen so that you can't see the backyard from Horizon. And I'll show you the landscape plan that shows that that will be completely protected. The driveway, you can enter here into the garage or from the front, so it'll just sort of swing around. And that's going to be pebbles or those little stones. And the yard
Can we see the landscape plan? Because this is like really small.
Okay, sorry about that.
I spoke with Bonnie regarding that. She did say she would get a larger size, but it is one of the requests that she was given, being on that small.
The landscape plan. Bear with me one moment because that's not in this folder. Oh, here it is. Can you see this?
You just got to click on it, Bonnie.
Oh, okay. Okay. Here we go. Can you see that?
Yeah, you could probably make it bigger. Like you could zoom into it.
Okay. Is that?
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thanks, Goldie.
Just used.
Okay, so here we go. So here's the screen of either big giants or Leland cypress that's going to protect the visual, so you won't see the backyard. It's just going to be mostly grass, and then the pool, 20 by 40 pool. This will be peacock pavers in rice white. So I have a picture of them. They're just a very beautiful, natural looking paver that's also affordable because I'm on a budget. And then here's the pool house that will mimic the style of the house. So it's a very sort of simple, same roof. It'll have a solid back. The front will be open toward the pool, and the sides will have more of like a slatted look to let a little bit of light through there. This is the door that leads into the house, and here's the where the sliding doors are. That'll have a couple of steps down to the pavers, front entrance, and this is all stones, and all the setbacks have been met with. I was dealing with Tom on this, so I got his approval on everything in terms of the layout and everything meeting the guidelines as far as the setbacks and the building envelope.
Question item, and I'll just make a couple quick comments.
Okay.
I think regarding the just what is required for us to be able to really sink our teeth into these drawings is, and then we'll go to the board as far as the style of the house. We need like an eave detail so we know what that soffit looks like and what all those elements that compose of that are, how far it comes off the house, if it does or not. The entrance details as far as the columns are concerned, and the width of the members comprising of the overhang from the front door and what is really happening in that. So we really need the trim around the windows, what the sill is, how the aesthetics and the treatments. It just seems like there are a lot of elements there that we can't really make a decision on because we don't know exactly what's going. The different reveals of the elements around the doors, the windows, the railings for the front door, and how all that's working. And then as far as the site is concerned, you know, a true grading plan would be great. There's a lot of grade on this property. And then existing trees and the size of the trees.
I think the grading, it's a flat lot. And the grade on the site plan, I can send you a larger one. It shows all the grading. And I can get you a drawing done. The engineer or architect can do a drawing that will show more of the window treatment, the trim. It's going to be very, very simple, and that'll be easy to show in a drawing.
That's an eve detail, and how the whole front door and all these working intricate details that we're an aesthetic board, so we're here to make calls on the aesthetics. So it's really important that we have access to that information as well as the
Photo of
site.
what the front door will look like. Would you like to see the a picture of the front door? Because I do have a photo that shows what the front entrance will look like.
I'd love to see that detailed out in some architectural drawings. But before we, you know, so the site and the existing trees on this site, especially the ones that you are planning to remove, and the size of these trees and where they are located on this site is really, really important.
Yeah,
so
whichever one.
The whole lot, the lot is a treed lot. It's an empty lot and it is treed. It actually borders the 25-acre reserve. And I was planning to clear a lot of it. I had gotten before Tom left. He said, well, I mean, he had told me it was fine, that there were no clearing restrictions, but I've chosen some of the larger oaks just because I like the oak trees. These are the ones that I was keeping to sort of buffer a little bit more from the street. But mostly it was going to be, because there's so many trees surrounding the lot, I wanted to have a lot of grass there. So I was planning, if it's okay with you, to clear it and put grass.
We would like to know which trees you're planning on removing. There's a, you know, there's a sense of place here that's an oak neighborhood. And it's really important that we know the size of the trees you're planning on taking out and reasons for doing that. So it'd be nice to have an existing site survey of showing the size of the trees and which ones you're planning to take out, and again the importance of the contours, 1 foot contours on the site, and how this is all working out.
How big is the house?
The house
is it over 3,000 square feet?
Yes, it is.
So you will need a public hearing before the board.
Yes. Yeah.
Can we go back to the front elevation and
yes. Sorry.
Can I say one thing? I mean, I'm not sure if we've said this or not, but we also need a plan for the pool house. We need to see it.
Yes, it's on there. I can show it to you. There is a drawing of the pool house.
Can we start with the main house and get some macro comments from the board members? And then we can look at.
Okay, I can.
We're going to need a lot of detail on all these plans.
So let me just see here. So, okay, so this is the house. There is no eave. I can show you a picture of the house. It's been designed after, if you'd like to see what it looks like built, because it's been built in Bridgehampton on Mitchell's Lane. And the only difference is that house is a different color, and the materials are different, but the shape and the design of it are the same, or very similar in terms of the roof line and the design of the elevations.
If you have a quick picture, that'd be great, but we're going to require the architectural details so we understand how this is working. So it's very hard to understand, especially at the front door, how that's going to.
The front door. I also have a picture of the front door that I'll be installing. I have a photo of that. If you just bear with me one moment, I can.
Val, do you have any quick comments about this facade?
I think it would be helpful to get a detail, a little bit more.
See, here is a 2 foot. This only comes out 2 feet because I'm limited by the building envelope and the setback at the front. So it's just going to be a flat awning. And then on the sides, but I have photos I can show you of what we had in mind for that. And it's going to be in a light.
This is a discussion, so I just want to see one photo, and I want to get just a gut feeling from the board, and then if you could please supply us with the detail that's required.
Okay.
Dean,
Sure, no problem.
Yes.
are you going to make a motion to, because Mrs. Hillman did put in a full application, to do a public hearing at the next available meeting?
No, that's impossible.
Oh, it is. Okay.
This is a discussion.
Why is it?
Because
it's
there's not enough
impossible?
detail. We're not shoehorning.
I can show you the details now. I do have photos of everything. Here's the trend. Sorry, just bear with me.
I'd like to see one photo and then get just some macro comments from the board. And then we'd like to have these details provided for the next meeting.
Okay, I can show you the details that I have so far that I think will.
I'd love to see the photo.
I just want to see a photo. I don't want to see any
one
other
photo.
details because they were not in the file. And we still have some applications to go through. So I'd like to get, this is what we're doing, getting macro comments from the board. And then we're
Okay,
moving
no
forward.
problem. No problem. I understand. I'm just trying to pull it up.
The Bridgehampton house that you were talking
Yes,
about.
I'm showing it now. There we go. Okay.
Now
There it
makes
is.
sense.
Just bear with me. Here it is. Okay. Can you see that?
Well, it gives us a, it gives
Part-
me
partial.
a better idea.
Yeah, these windows go into the roof line. Mine will not be doing that.
Mhm.
This house cost a lot more money than I have to build, but if you see the shape of it, it's the incline of the roof is exactly the same. The look of the house will be very, very similar.
How about
to
the
this.
cladding of the house?
This cladding, my cladding will be more of a shiplap style, so it's very similar in terms of the board size, but there'll be a small gap between each board, so it's more of a shiplap look, but very similar.
You mentioned
You
the restaurant. You mentioned the restaurant in Bridgehampton.
Yes, top of
Right. And when I
Rose.
see this picture, now I know. Now I get it. Now it's those
Yeah, this
buildings
is a
in the
beautiful-
back.
Really beautiful.
Of
I
Topping
can
Rose.
also show you the front entrance, which I'm going to be copying. And then I
Steve
have
Williams, do you
another
have
photo of-
comments regarding the massing of this house? Can we go back to the front elevation
Sure.
and the window configuration? Do you have any quick comments about this
So just,
structure?
Just bear with me and I'll pull that up. I also have a photo of the of my front entrance, the cladding that I'm going to be using on the front door. I'm having it custom made. Let me just see here.
Just want to go back to the original.
Okay, bear with me one moment. I apologize. Just takes a second to pull it up. So what would you like to see?
The elevation of the front elevation,
Okay,
please.
okay, here we go.
Steve, the configuration of the windows, doors. Do you have any macro comments for this project?
To me, it looks very industrial, particularly the front entrance side. And I would like to see more details because it's not really, as I would say, in character with, I think, a lot of the neighboring houses.
Actually, it's not in the historic area at all. It's a modern barn, and it's extremely simple, and it's actually fits in, I think, perfectly with.
I would
there's
like
no-
to get comments from the board so you can go back and we can find a meeting of
sorry.
the minds somewhere down the road.
Here's the
Judith, do you
photo.
have comments? Judith?
Oh, sorry, didn't hear you. Well, you're right. It is a very simple design. And I was glad to see that photograph because it gave it a little bit more context. Yeah, it's the front seems a little severe. I don't know if there's just some way to soften it, and maybe if it has trees all around it, maybe that's the answer. That's all. That's my first thought.
Val Florio, you said you need more details. Bethany?
I think, the photograph really, it helps quite a bit because you can get a perspective of the texture. Looking at the black and white is a big difference from looking at something that's more real world. So I think that the image was a big help in describing the front door. As far as the only comment I would have to the back, there's lots of windows, but it does face a reserve. If this were more prominent, I might say that the center, you have that triple door on the back of the house. And there's a lot of glass here, a lot of fenestration, but it would look more organized if those windows stacked on top of the doors on the first floor.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would have liked that, but the engineer said it wasn't possible. He did as best he could. You could see here, it's lined up, but because it's just the spacing,
Okay.
structurally it wasn't possible.
Right.
But
you can't group those windows closer together, I guess.
No, because yeah, exactly. It was just a
Okay.
structural thing.
Yeah.
I mean, when we get on site, if it's possible, I do want those as lined up as much as possible. I agree with that. I prefer it, but only if it is, structurally allows for it with the 2x6s. And
Yeah. We're on paper now, and we're discussing this aesthetically. So let's just stick with the aesthetics.
Yeah, I'm done commenting. That's my only comment.
You could remove a window. Engineers can do all kinds of things, but for me, the back, I appreciate that you're looking onto the preserve, but I'm not understanding the aesthetics of the back of this structure, and as well as the front. So I think the details will help out tremendously. It's not uncommon for us to ask for a 3D rendering of some structure like this. I'm not getting the detail that I need to make a decision, but I mean, for me, where you have the 3 sliders and the 4 windows above, it looks like this house is being designed from the inside out, opposed to any sort of aesthetics being applied to the exterior. And that might just because we're lacking some architectural details to help out with that. So you might not think that we're working with you, but we are. So I really need to see, these members, these details being called out.
Yeah, the windows are
detail.
beautiful. They're 6x6, so it's more that beautiful square shape that's going to come across of just the black square shape of the window, and so it'll look beautiful once it's done. Because here it looks like they're just these little small windows, but these are actually massive, beautiful windows that are going to be 6 feet by 6 feet. And so it'll look gorgeous actually once it's completed.
I think maybe I'm having trouble with those 4 windows and how some of these things, that it's not harmonious, and it's almost window heavy on the top, and this structure is missing some balance.
Well, this is the garage here.
Yeah.
So that's why there's
that's
no
the
windows
garage.
here, because that's garage. And so the house, basically, there's a room over the garage, which is here. So that, the house, basically, you could see it sort of where it stops. It's and that's why the windows in here, I actually designed this on purpose. I sort of wanted it to, originally I didn't have a window here, and I just wanted it to be very sort of simple in the front and just have the glass sort of around the front door, and just have a very sort of simple design of the house to kind of, emulate the picture that I'd shown you. But we decided to add this window because we just thought it made it a little bit more interesting to have sort of just a window sort of floating there.
I'm finding the rear the rear facade is not harmonious. There's something lacking, so it might be another drawing to help me understand this drawing. It could be a 3D rendering of this house, more details, so we can move forward. Same thing with the
My
site plans.
architect doesn't do 3D, so I would be virtually impossible for me because he doesn't do that. He only works with CAD, and he doesn't do 3D renderings. I mean, I can show you photos of
I don't want
design.
to. I would like. I understand plans really well. I think there's something not harmonious about the back of this of the facade, and if you could just take a look at that and provide us with the details that we need to move forward with this application.
Okay, so I'm happy to provide that. If you could just tell me, other than a 3D rendering, if there's something else, if I can show you photos, like I use inspiration. So for this, I have photos that I sent. Carrie, do you have the photo that
I don't know.
that I sent?
Please spare me with the photos. I would like to see architectural drawings, details of how the windows are working, the materials, the size of materials, like a real set of plans. And then I made, my comment was the back facade is missing some harmony there. Things are not lining up. There's something ajar here. And if you could just take a look at that, that would be wonderful. And then if you could detail this drawing out, what the steps are made of, are there railings, how this is all coming together. Because this is the quick elevation. We know what you want to do. The photos are encouraging, but I think you need to back this up a little bit. So with that, we're going to move on.
How would you like that presented? Can I do it as a bullet point presentation, like with?
This is an architectural review board. We need architectural drawings.
Right.
I mean, okay, please, you're on to something. You just need to pull it over the finish line.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Next time.
Okay.
287 Main Street, please.
Hi. Hello. My name is Marjorie Goldberg, and I'm representing Robert Gibbs, who's beside me here. Carrie, I sent you 2 packages. I don't know if you can pull them up or not. The first package, which I finished first, was for the pool house and the proposed pool. And then because there was a delay in the meetings, I was able to finish the drawings for the house. So I'd like to start by talking about the house. The house was built, we think, in 1845 or 46. According to the Suffolk County Commissioner of Deeds, I guess it is, there was a bill of sale or a title that passed in 1840.
There you go.
This property to can you hear me?
We can't hear you.
Yeah, here is the house. You can't at all? Did you hear anything that I did?
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
Yes, okay. And the front of the house looks like it's a very small house, but in actuality, this house goes very far back, 71 feet to be exact. And it's called a 1.5-story house. And I think that's because the second floor ceiling is only 8 feet at its highest point, which was really too low to much as far as the addition. And more space was needed because the client's family is going to be expanding and they need master suite and
Do you have elevations of this house?
Yes. Well, it was all in the package, but you don't have that, right? We're going to pull up the elevations. Okay, so rather than add, if you look at the south elevation, that's the elevation looking at the proposed finished south side from the driveway. The front of the house is rather low. So
Is there any way you can provide us with the elevations?
I just did. Can you see this?
No, we don't
See the picture.
Oh,
We still see the photo.
We still have the Wagoneer.
The
Great car.
Christmas wreath.
Maybe wait for the screen to update because I think this is all in the packet with the application. I just don't know if it's easier for me to share it or for Carrie to share it.
Well, if you could share it, that'd be great.
Yeah, Carrie's been having a hard time getting it to work.
can we do that?
There we go.
We got it? Great.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so make that bigger. That's okay. Well, what we're doing here is we're finishing the basement. We are renovating the first floor and we're adding on to the second floor.
Carrie, so we can all see your screen now, Carrie. Thank you. If you scroll down to the elevations, yeah, that's it. Oh, there you go.
No, not that one. Well, the top one is the front from Main Street. But if we go to the next A3,
There's the chimney. There's the extra chimney.
Yes. Go back one, please. Carrie, can you go back one? No, back to the.
Sorry, down one.
Down one. Down. That's it. Stop. No, not that one.
Down one. Thank you.
That's
There
it.
you go.
Okay. Rather than try to squeeze in more space with an 8-foot ceiling, and rather than, which would be terrible, go higher, butted up against the existing house, I thought that it would be better to have an addition pretty far away from the house, but over the back of the house. So that is what we did. And what you see there in this gable, which is the same angle as the front gable, is that's the master suite. And because it's pushed back from the edge of the house, there was room there to put in a deck over the
I could
roof.
just jump in here. So it's very hard for us to understand what's going on. If you have an existing elevation and then a dashed line or a dotted line, so we know what you're adding or propose to add, it would be super helpful. Are we looking at what's there now or what?
No, you're not looking, no, only the front elevation shows what is there now with the addition of the proposed chimney. In this drawing on the south elevation, all that is there is the front in the dark outline and then the first floor. Everything else would be proposed. The second floor.
So the actual house goes all the way back to the end here.
That's right. And it is all very old because I have maps that go back
No, it's not.
1854 that show the shape of the house with the exception of the existing sunken dining room, which was supposed to be a sunroom, but is now used as a sunken dining room, which I am proposing to raise because it is very difficult to go down a flight of steps carrying food.
Okay, I just would like to break in. This is a discussion, and we will definitely need to have a site visit to review the property with our historian, if you don't mind. But in general, if you could just walk through us generally what you're proposing, and it's really important to have these elevations depicting the proposed so we understand what you're proposing and removing and why you want to remove chimneys. So basically from the street, you see the ridge line, and that's basically our top elevation. Anything addition has to be subordinate from that height in our general view. So that is one thing. We'd like to know what the square footage of the original structure is, and then what you propose. And then if we could see on the macro level what your vision is, then we can go from there. We don't want to go too deep into the weeds because already we have some issues, and I'd like to have Zach jump in as far as what he's seen so far to explain what your initial feelings are, Zach.
Sure. Well, I mean, this is obviously, a classic Sag Harbor house, 1.5 story as the applicant has presented. presents major challenges in terms of enlarging it. But I mean, this is a very long extension. Perhaps I misunderstood or misheard, but this long extension to the back is certainly not original to the house. I think we need to do a site visit, but the large addition and the height of the back, which will be visible from the street, is really an extreme extension, an extreme kind of vision for enlarging this house, in my opinion.
The house is, right now, it's a very long house, as is. And according to the maps that I have found, all of this is old. It's not new. These were not later additions.
But it doesn't rise to 2.5 stories.
Oh, no, no. The only,
Right, and that's the problem, because what exists, and the board has no opinion upon that. But enlarging it in a way that goes up in the way it does is problematic. So that for me will be the issue.
well, we are adding a second floor. It's not 2.5 stories, just a second floor. And it's just.
Well, it's a full 2 stories plus a gable and ridge line that rises considerably higher in massing, scale, and in elevation to the original. So that is, I'm just offering my opinion, that is going to be the major challenge here, because this greatly enlarges the old house.
You have a problem with the new proposed ridge line being higher than the original. That's
Yes.
like step one. That's something that, from the street, we're really trying to maintain what that streetscape looked like originally.
Right.
So blasting up higher is definitely something that we hardly ever go forward with. So in this case, this is a wonderful example of our history here, and we really need to make a site visit and meet with you if possible.
Sure.
To review this.
Yep, that'd
Be
be
a
very,
point of
very
beginning that
helpful.
would be helpful for both of us.
Yep.
Okay. Sure. All right. The second part of the submission was for the pool house and the pool.
You have, Carrie, you have the survey, I think, with the plot on that. It's a separate document.
Hold on, I'll look for it.
There we go.
Property goes way back.
The property goes way back, yes. And in order to fit into the setbacks, we are putting in just a very narrow, small pool. And we would propose a small 200 square foot pool house that would be harmonious with any proposed addition that we could do. Now, we are above the allowable lot coverage, but we are proposing to remove where you see patio and asphalt and gravel, and thereby coming back to a number that is below the existing. So I don't know if you would allow that or not.
And that's detailed on the survey numbers.
If you scroll down on this survey, you have all the numbers that are pertinent to this.
Scroll
the
up.
other way, the other way.
Have to maintain that lot, that percentage.
Scroll up.
Up.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Keep
you.
A
going.
little bit more.
Keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go. Okay. So yeah, the roofed residence is now 20.
Did the driveway one time come all the way back to the garage, you think?
Yes, yes.
Wow.
Correct.
Yeah, so there's too
I
much.
think you have a great project. It has to be within the lot coverage, and a site visit is the way forward here for all of us, and to really make strides. So thank you very much.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Exciting.
11 Henry Street, please.
Jared,
11 Henry?
Jared? We can't hear you. You have to unmute.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. I'm not 11 Henry Street.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Sorry. I thought you were.
11 Henry?
Michael Schmidt.
I don't believe he's on.
81 Long Island Avenue.
That Jared.
That's Jared.
That's me.
Sorry.
Great. Not a problem. Okay.
Okay, Jared, let's go.
We have two
Jared, what do
more.
you got?
Okay, my name is Jared London. I'm the architect for the client at 81 Long Island Avenue. May I share my screen?
Please.
Okay. Bear with me just a moment. Okay, the proposed property is located on Long Island Avenue. It's situated just between 91 Long Island Avenue, which is the residence here, and the Bridge Street condos heading down into the village. The lot is 22,000 square feet. The existing house was built in 2002.
Yeah.
It was just built.
Well,
I'm amazed.
so this is the
Feels
existing
like it.
house.
Yeah, it looks like a ship.
Yeah.
Right. That's correct. So the existing house is 3,400 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. It has a raised pool, deck, and garage, as you can see. And bear with me while I just circulate through this. What we're proposing is to build a new house, 3,370 square feet, so 30 square feet smaller. Again, 4 bedrooms, 1-car garage, patio, trellis. The new house will not have a swimming pool. We're proposing to bring the footprint of the house approximately 50 feet further back from the road, behind the AE6 line. Situating it more adjacent to the neighbor's property.
Variances are you looking for here?
I'm sorry?
Will you be requiring variance?
We are not looking for any variance.
Smaller than what's there. What's
It's
the
smaller
design?
than, it is smaller than what's there.
Yeah.
And no
Again,
pool.
there's no pool. There's a large grove of bamboo here on the east side of the property that we're going to be removing. We're going to be replacing that with clusters of green giants that will then create a better separation between the condos and the main residence. Some of that will actually come from the opposite property line here, where there are some existing green giants. So we'll be moving those to the opposite side. There's a lot of kind of dry underbrush along the street. We're going to clean all of that up, take all of that out and replace it with a combination of shad bush and flowering dogwoods, inkberries, and other native vegetation. Driveway pretty much stays in the exact same location. So this would be a view from the street of the house that we're proposing. It's a modern house. It's approximately 7 feet lower on the site than the existing house. So 50 feet back, 7 feet lower. Elevation of the finished floor is 9 feet, so we are more than conforming with BFE, even though we've brought the house back behind the Zone X line. So just look at elevations here. Super clean, simple, modern. Siding is going to be vertical grain clear cedar with a weathering stain. Windows are going to be black anodized aluminum. Chimney would be stucco.
It's a very
Yes, sir.
interesting design, I'll say, but I understand it's not a historic, it's a brand new build, but it would be, I think it'd be beneficial if we took a look at the site as well.
Absolutely.
You have a lot of second story terracing there, and it would be super important for us to just take a quick look and see how that impacts neighbors and streetscapes and things like that.
Absolutely. So I should note that the terracing that we have right now and that we're proposing, not only is it 50 feet further back than the terracing that the existing house has, but it's also 7 feet lower. You're welcome to come and visit the site. And we should also note that the neighboring property that the terrace overlooks is the same owner that owns this property.
Wait, he's gonna own both houses that are next door to each other?
That's correct.
Yeah, okay,
So far, it looks very interesting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Terrific. Well, I appreciate that. And because it's over 3,000 square feet, we do have to open it up to a public hearing. So, part of the discussion purposes is really to just bring it to your attention and to find out, what additional information you'd be looking for from us.
Can you run through the 4 elevations for us, and I'll get a quick macro view from our board members?
Absolutely. So these are the side views.
Val Florio.
I'm looking at the amount of glass on this house, and I think that I'm just trying to get perspective. Which side of the house does your client own in terms of the glass?
The side with the most glass faces our client's house.
Okay.
The side with the screening faces the condos.
All right. But that's my only comment. It's a little bit too early yet. I've not seen this yet, so I don't want to say too much. But I know the property well, and I just want to take this in a little bit. I like the color, and that it sort of fades into the background. So that's about all I can say at the moment.
Steve Williams.
Well, I kind of agree with Val. I don't have a lot to say here. I think that making an exception for second floor patios or terrace, I guess, because it overlooks the current owner, doesn't mean that person will always be the current owner. So while we can extend some level of leniency, I don't think that we can go too far. I think it's interesting. It's certainly much more attractive than what's there. And I'd like to see some further designs on this.
Bethany?
I agree with both Val and Steve.
Bob?
I agree with Steve and Val too. I think that I wouldn't worry about who's going to be next door to that house. I mean, it's his property, and
right. And again, given that, and it is a good point. It was just important to keep in mind that the existing terraces were actually higher and provide more of a view to the neighboring property and the road than the proposed. So we're actually reducing the amount of intrusion.
We visit this site on our own, or would you like us to make an appointment with you?
It would be best to make an appointment.
Okay.
You can reach out. You can reach out to me directly, and I can schedule that.
We'll talk to Carrie and have her set something up for us.
That's perfect. And of course, you can drive past any time because it's right by the main road.
Yeah.
Can I make a comment?
Absolutely.
I just would like to say that I like the fact that it's lower, smaller, and has no pool. Those are all greatly in its favor, in my opinion. And
I thought so.
To see how it looks as we go along.
I agree with that, Judith.
First impression, I think it's very handsome. I like it a lot. I just really would like to see how it fits into the landscape.
Yeah.
Terrific. Okay, great. Well,
That
thank
was
you very
helpful.
much.
Thank you.
Hey, everyone.
Dean, you have 65 Milton.
65 Milton, please.
Hey, good evening, everybody. My name is David Martins. I'm an associate architect here at Martin Architects at Sagaponic, and I'm representing my client at 65 Milton. So if it's okay, I'll share my screen now.
Great.
Please.
Okay. Can anybody see?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So the property is currently located in the corner of Cuffey and Milton. So we have a corner lot with two front yard setbacks. The pool is going to, the house is going to be a two-story house, and it's going to be stacked as well as pivoted to the side. You'll see it later on in the elevations. And we're also going to do a pool, but no pool house. And the entrance into the house, the property itself has some pretty drastic grade changes, as you guys can see by this site plan. If you'd like, I'll zoom in a little bit. So we have a drastic change in elevation between this corner here to the top, and which is close. It's about 15-foot difference in height. So we're going to maximize that when we actually approach the property and use it when we designed it. So I'll move on to the plans now. So this is just the general landscape plan idea that we have. We're going to keep as many trees on the property as possible. There are going to be 3 that are going to be removed, 2 trees where the location of the pools are going to be right here, and another one that happens to be right in this location as well. All the other trees are existing to remain. We have some pretty large 36-inch oaks that we want to keep. So we don't want to disturb much of that. So most of the primary vehicular access into the property is going to occur in Milton, and it actually goes down. So we don't want any headlights of cars to flash into neighbors. So we push all cars to the lower level. And let's see.
Can we see elevations of this house, please?
Absolutely. These are the floor plans. So this is the elevation along Milton. So we play a lot with the idea of rain screening and tongue and groove wood. So the palette of the house, as you'll see later on in renderings I have to show you guys, is going to be a mixture of wood, hardy board, as well as the aluminum windows. So just 2 materials to try to keep it relatively simple. So this is the elevation along Milton. So even though it is a 2-story house, we do break the massing of a 2-story building into 2 separate elements, just so there's some more breathability to the actual house itself and doesn't become like almost like a linchpin in that corner. So the next elevation, this is along Cuffey. So this is the only part of the house where actually will read as a 2-story element, just along here, but that's also the same location where the stair is along the interior of it.
Can you give us the square footage of this home?
Absolutely. The house is, sorry, let me just jump into the zoning. I believe we're a little under 3,000, so because we don't need the public hearing. The GFA on it is 2,297 square feet.
Huh.
Thank you.
So it is a relatively small house.
Great.
So I'm just going to jump into the renderings because I think they read better than the elevations, if that's okay.
Yeah, just two quick questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
The elevation, the roof line elevation, or whether it's the roof or on Cuffey and on Milton, what are those heights?
So the height from finished grade is 20 feet up.
On Cuffey?
On a Cuffey, yes, exactly.
On Milton?
Yeah. On Milton is actually less. On Milton, it is only, because it's only the 1-story portion of it.
Right.
So that part of it is only from the street, because we actually go down underground. From the street, it will only be like 13 feet or 14 feet. It's not much.
Wow.
And it's further set back. We're actually, I know that front yard setbacks would be 30 feet, but we actually push the house a little bit further in as well, just so we can actually get that cars to go in without, in and down without making too much of a hassle out of it. So I'll show you the renderings because I think the renderings speak better than elevations. So this is the view from Milton. So this is where you drive down and you go into the garage, and you could go up to the front of the house or up to the right-hand side. That's where the pool is and the main lounge area. So it's a very existing heavily wooded site. So we really like that. So we wanted that to read in the house as well, and even in the design, which is actually, we use that as the inspiration for the pallets. We're using an Akoya pre-engineered, I'm sorry, not pre-engineered, pre-finished wood by Delta for the facades. And we're doing a mixture of tongue and groove, rain screening. And then what's going on in here is where we separate the rain screening further. So it's like creates like this accordion effect. So where we want you to look into the house, we start separating those boards, and we want privacy, we start closing them. So that's the little play that we have with the facade materials. So we've been working with Martyrs, the landscapers out here in the Hamptons, to come up with some vegetation as well. So we really want to vegetate along that street to create a nice separation between the road as well as the house, because it is a relatively heavy use road. And we understand that it's a corner lot. We don't want to be, like I said, we don't want to impose on anybody. So just use some lower vegetation along there, but still have the house peek out a little bit. So creates a nice like little juxtaposition. And along the back of the house is where the main fenestration is in the house. So between the pool and the main kitchen area is all along here, the living room's in here. So we maximize the use of this space. And the cantilever breaks, like I said, it breaks the monotony of a traditional two-story house. There is only one deck, and it's actually inset in the house. It doesn't protrude. So it's this little corner right here. So it all aligns with the facade. And other than that, there are no second-story decks outside of that.
Where does that deck look onto?
It looks onto, so we did a few drone shots, and that's the only spot that in the winter you can see straight through, and you can actually see the beach through a few trees and stuff like that. So that looks onto, not really onto your neighbor, because it actually pivots a little bit further than the neighbor, if you know what I mean. It looks actually a diagonal to Milton.
Great. Okay. Steve Williams, comments?
The initial design is stunning. It's very attractive. And it's the neighbors also are sort of modern design houses, at least the one directly across the street. It's very attractive.
Thank you.
Love that.
Yeah, this is, I believe this is like the money shot of the house. It's the first thing you see. It really does create this beautiful cantilever effect, as well as seclusion, and almost like attracts you towards the house. So we are very excited with this house as well.
Judith, comments, initial comments?
I think it's breathtaking.
Wow.
I love it.
That means a lot.
Thank you so much.
Bethany?
No, I really like it too. It's amazing.
Val?
Yeah, I agree. I love the natural wood. And I think, not to speak to the other application, but because the textures are so earthy in terms of the material choice, it integrates quite nicely into the landscape. It's not a loud house. It's beautiful. It looks great.
Thank you.
I think it's a Bob Adams.
I think it's a gorgeous house.
Yeah.
And I know the neighborhood there, and it'll sit in perfectly.
For me, the house, I think it is a piece of art. It's great. My concerns would be the view corridors with this, and the adjacent properties in the street, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Grading is a big issue here. We'd really like to see how that's hammered out, and how many of the existing trees you're retaining, and what existing trees you would be removing. And that would be super important to have that on a plan.
Absolutely.
And how the landscaping works with your architecture and the streetscape, and how it coordinates with your streetscape,
mm-hmm.
which would
Absolutely.
be really, really important to me.
Yeah, we have site plans and surveys prepared with all the trees up to 6-inch diameter. So we have that ready for you guys as well. So as soon as we're ready to move forward, we'll submit that to you and we'll delineate exactly the trees that are going to be removed. But like I said, we're going to try to save as many as we can.
That's the idea.
Yep.
Beautiful. Great job.
Great.
Great
Awesome. Thank you so
presentation.
much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Okay, people, I think that's it.
Well, we have to go back right and tables a few that didn't come. The Yacht Club,
Yes.
Sag Pizza,
Thank you, Bethany.
and
I got
One more.
83 Main Street, 125 Glover Street,
69 Redwood.
9 Redwood.
and I make a motion to table those applications. Do I have a
I think
second?
it's just the
You have
three.
a second, Mr. Chairman.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And I make a motion to adjourn the meeting of March 25, 2021. Do I
Excuse
have a
me,
second?
are you still there?
Yeah,
Hello?
I was gonna say, who's this lady right here?
Yeah, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Sit there, smiling at us almost.
Stacy, can you hear us?
No, it's Denise, actually, from Hampton Signs.
Oh, hi.
Hi there. We have on the meeting tonight is 83 Main Street.
83 Main, yeah.
Okay, we called that twice, well, 3 times. Okay.
We didn't hear it. Okay, we've been waiting for it. Okay.
Been here. She's been here through the whole thing.
Yes, we have.
83 Main Street, you said?
Please.
Yes.
Well, we called you and then they approved it. So it was already approved. They looked at
Wow.
it without you
Mm-hmm.
presenting. So
Terrific.
thank you for being a
I didn't check myself.
good audience member for the entire
It's
meeting.
been very interesting.
Oh, boy.
I hope you had
All right.
dinner.
No, not yet, but thank
Well,
you.
Go have dinner.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry about that.
No problem. Take
Bye.
care. Bye.
Okay, so we're adjourning the meeting of March 25, 2021. Do I have a second?
Can I ask one more thing though, before you go, Bud, real quick? 206 division, 268 division,